What is up, everybody? Welcome to the preseason cup preliminaries. I am Delthius. How's it going, everybody? Sorry I couldn't make it on Friday nights. I will try to maybe make it up to y'all. Maybe do a bonus feast or something like that this week. But good to see everybody. We have got some preliminary matches. So we got the preseason cup going on. It's the latest in the Mochaccino tournaments. And this is basically going to kind of tie us over until the next big event, you know, the next championship or what have you. And it's an interesting way to test out some of the balance changes that are proposed. We are on the PTR right now. And if you give me just a moment, I'm trying to work out some things in the background a little bit. But the big balance changes here is really looking at the Mole Warren. The Mole Warren has less HP now, and it loses 3 HP with each spawn moles. Toads are actually fast on all terrain types at road speed. Chameleons get a little bit of a buff. They attack immediately after uncloaking. Pig HP goes down a bit. Barbed wire goes down a bit. And certain things like Landmire, Barbed wire, and Mole Warren never heal. Stealth reveal changed a little bit. Snake structure poison changed a little bit. But this event is kicking off soon. Make sure to sign up if you haven't already. And all the information is in the Discord. It's the same TnT Championship Discord. We've been using this basically for all of Mochaccino's events. And you can find that link if you aren't already there in the Tooth to Tail events section underneath the channel you're watching now. But yeah, sign up, guys. It's going to be a lot of fun. We've already got a bunch of people signed up. And what we're doing right now is we've got a couple newer players, and we're looking to see where to place them. It's a round-robin series with 8 players. And each player is going to play 3 rounds of best of 3, and top 2 scorers get to go to intermediate division. Although it looks like maybe a couple players aren't here. Satoros is also streaming. So definitely check that out as well. Maybe watch one of us live, check out the VOD or of the other, or maybe do that. I think you can like dual stream kind of deal. So yeah, we got 4 out of 6 players that have pinged in, so we're gonna get started here. There might be a couple bumps in the road as we get going, but everything should be good. So I think I'm ready to kick these matches off between Draz and Tuesday. And let's get started. Alright. So Tuesday is a pretty aggressive player. Oh man, look at this. Okay. Yeah, I actually just played a couple rounds against Tuesday on the ladder. I had the itch to play, man. I was in Discord kind of chatting it up today. It's like, man, I want to play some Tooth Tail. In the right, we've got Draz. Quadruple 0. And over to the left, Tuesday. Alright, both of these guys are rocking some pretty wonky decks here. And Tuesday's deck kind of has this interesting idea of maybe trying to leverage the Lizard Skunk into getting into the Snake Owl Badger late game. You've even got the Wolf. I mean, Tuesday's deck, man, it is definitely packing some heat. But the question is, can it get there, you know? Meanwhile, Draz is kind of doing some old school pile style type of approach. He's got Squirrel Toad and just a whole bunch of structures. So maybe we'll get to see a little bit about what those accelerated toads can do. And I feel like with these decks, you know, Draz is going to need to try to come in here pretty early on, cut a decent piece of the map out for himself. And this is actually a decent map for the deck that Draz is bringing out here. You know, I mean, there's lots of gristmills already on his side of the map. And he can start splitting off, you know, somewhere around here and try to stranglehold Tuesday into not being able to get the resources he needs. But as we've seen, you know, recently, you know, 2 bases can be all you really need to get some of these tier 3 going if you kind of bob and groove and shuffle correctly. So we'll see if that's all Tuesday needs. And even if Draz starts, you know, getting where he wants to go with this kind of defensive style, it's going to be difficult to really lock Tuesday out of 3 bases. You know, I mean, this is a pretty good spawn. for that sort of thing. So honestly, man, this is one of the most wild looking games of TnT, and we haven't even gotten started yet. You know, just over analyzing these decks. I mean, who knows? Maybe we'll just see Squirrel Toad, Lizard Skunk, and that'll be the end of it. But maybe we'll get into some crazy stuff. So far this is looking pretty okay for both sides. You know, this one turret trying to dissuade Tuesday from coming in, but being aggressive so far, that's what he needs to do. He really can't afford to let this defensive momentum really get going that Draz is going to want to set up. But I feel like Draz needs to get this up further, right? Like where his barbed wire was is really where he needs to be contesting, because where it stands, where he's starting to build the defense, and yeah, he can start like leapfrogging forward as the game continues. But as it stands, you know, these defensive structures are not threatening, and really the way you need to use defense in a composition like what Draz has here is actually offensively. You know, Draz needs to get in there, and he needs to pressure Tuesday with these defensive structures. And right now, if you're Tuesday, you can just kind of be looking at this like, fine, man, I'll macro up. You know, I'll get to some of my higher tier units, you know, going up to double skunks. But let's see how Draz plays this. I feel like Draz is a little bit of the protagonist here, because if you just look at these decks, you know, eventually, in theory, Tuesday will overpower as far as army comp is concerned. You know, Draz is really the one who's got to figure out some clever way to allow his plan to unfold. Streaming on Tuesday night at 8 o'clock, man, just like the old days. Yeah, here we go. The Gristmill's starting to move forward. Now Draz needs to slowly start getting up here a little bit more. But I feel like he's got to get it going a little bit faster. Like this artillery cannon, maybe that's fine. I always underestimate the artillery cannon's range. And Tuesday's going to come in, kind of look for a pocket. And actually, Tuesday can go all the way around here. This is going to be some nice harassment. Should be able to come in here and grab maybe 3 pigs. Yeah, tries for the 4th. Gets 3 pigs. Pretty good trade for sure. And Tuesday has a lot of money here. Needs to start getting into some of this higher tech. And you start macroing up that 3rd base. And slowly but surely, man, Draz is starting to get it set up. Yeah, there's the double owl. And this is what I'm worried about. You know, Draz has a nice defensive position. And sometimes you can leverage this into a victory by doing something maybe like Snake Owl. And kind of having these really cost-effective units that can trade very, very well, or not even trade, to be honest, just kind of deal damage and survive, and build up to that. But the problem is that Draz doesn't have that in his composition. Like, Draz is really, really relying on the defensive structures here to get the win. And I'm getting worried because Tuesday is not being harassed. Tuesday's under no real pressure. Like, yeah, they can't attack in at the moment, but hey, that's fine. I mean, look at Tuesday's deck. It's got triple tier 3 in it. They're not looking to attack in. They're really just looking to power up into this late game. Oh, here we go. This is the big banger for Draz, man. 33 squirrels on the way. You know, and what's interesting about Toads versus Mice, too, is obviously it's not cost effective in the long run, but I mean, in a perfect world, if the Toads are able to clash in on the Mice, right, delete the Mice, that gives you that pocket where you can get in there and get some damage done. But you know, I'm really skeptical because Tuesday's got these 6 skunks as well. So again, all Tuesday really has to do is just like hang out and build up to this this triple tier 3 comp. You know, have that Badger nice and protected by all the Mice. And this is going to be a weird one for sure. We're already getting to that phase. And if Draz can figure out a way to make this work, I'd be very, very impressed. But right now, this is looking pretty good for Tuesday. And here come the Mice already. Now, the barbed wire is going to slow these Mice down a good amount. Oh, but barbed wire actually doesn't heal anymore at all. Alright, so that's a PTR change. And we got the fast toad boys. The fast toads, man. I wonder if that's going to be the change that, like, really upsets the game, you know? That's an interesting one to me. I didn't think about that. I like the amphibious toads, you know, but now they're taking it a step further, man. Now we just got speedy toads. And remember, this barbed wire doesn't heal. It is very cheap, though, you know. It's only 10 bucks each. Oh, these squirrels coming in from Draz, but is it going to be enough? The problem is all the gas. Like, I think Draz would have been better off taking lizards over toads while you try this kind of composition. Because if he had lizards here, maybe he could be coming in, you know, doing some harassment there. Always kind of threatening the base race. Like, yeah, you have this mega ultimate army, but as soon as you try to move out with it, I'm going to run around you and try to base race you with the toads and rely on my defenses to slow you down. I mean, that was basically the Pile style, right? But Draz is a newer player, that's why we're in these preliminary cups. So I would be very surprised if Draz knows who Pile is. But great minds think alike, and Draz has a really cool idea here for this composition. And, you know, if Tuesdays was rocking, like, a regular deck, you know what I mean? Just, like, with some Skunk, Falcon, maybe your favorite Tier 3, you know, Squirrel Mole, Squirrel Lizard, something like that. You know, this might be working, but, man, maybe I'm counting Draz out a little too early. He does have a hell of an economy here. And he's finally got the threatening defensive structures put up. And can Tuesday break through this? Tuesday's got to focus in on this fortified position here, but with all these squirrels reinforcing, you know, double Artie just constantly firing in. Oh my god, Draz is figuring out a way to make it work. Mass squirrel with some toad, with some defenses, and Tuesday now looks like he's the one who's maybe thinking about a base raid. No, gonna try to come in from a different angle onto these defenses. But Draz is looking for blood. Tuesday already knows that getting another Gristmill up and running, but Draz is just looking to end the game right here, right now, with his army of squirrels. And it's hard to keep track of both, but I think he's actually going to get it in time before that Gristmill finishes. It's going to be very, very close. No, 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 no. Oh, man, he stopped for a minute, but there he goes. Woo. That was an interesting game. I thought he was pulling back for a second. Like, no. Every second really mattered there, because if that additional Gristmill got up, then maybe Tuesday comes back from that position. Okay. Let me take a peek. Okay, so Night Slayer has confirmed. I think we're waiting on Darius to check in. Alright, alright. Just trying to keep an eye on that in the background. Man, I can't believe that worked for Draz. Wow. I was getting very, very skeptical, man. But that final push in the bottom right, changing it up again. We've got Draz with 5 Tier 1 and a boar. Let's go. Up top, we've got Tuesday rocking that same triple Tier 3 composition. I think maybe that's what Tuesday's practiced. And this is really interesting. The variety in mindset. You know, how you approach a series, right? So far, it's looking like Draz is like, okay, man, I've got, you know, a few crazy builds, crazy decks that I'm just going to throw in and blindside my opponent. And so far, Tuesday's like, you know what? I've got the one deck that I'm really strong with, that I've practiced with, and I'm going to play that. And honestly, there is no right answer. Like, I've seen players excel with both styles. I always kind of lean on the flexibility. But that's not always the case. I mean, we've seen guys like Araloo and this guy really come to mind. You know, where in their heyday, they were really mainly using like the same at least like 5 core units, and maybe like adjusting that 6th pick. But this is kind of cool when you're so radically changing the compositions between matches like Draz's, because now maybe Tuesday's thinking, okay, he's going to try to set up this economy or this structure style again. I need to, you know, reorient myself to deal with that. But so far, nothing crazy. 8 farm double out of Draz. Tuesday with the 8 farm single into an expansion. Normally this is pretty safe. However, these rush distances are very, very short. Draz is coming out with a single squirrel just starting to poke. Needs to be careful though. the lizard will definitely beat the squirrel. And he's moving in more. Now he wants to attack the mill, getting a little big for his britches here. Needs to be careful. In these early games, you know, losing just a couple units can really snowball quickly. And so far, this has been a nice engagement for Tuesday. Draz floated a lot of money during that, and Tuesday's already getting that second base up and running. But let's see if this cavalcade of tier 1, you know, is he just going to go for a one base all-in, building a little bit of everything? Needs to be careful, though. You know, these lizards will just dominate these squirrels and put Draz farther and farther behind. And, you know, Tuesday, I think he was building a farm, but he sold one off. And this is the problem of running only lizards, is if your opponent shows up with toads, you can definitely have a bad time, or even, you know, 2 to 4 chameleon can make a difference, but it's only 2 toads here so far. Gonna need a few more than that. And you can micro and try to get the toads to explode, you know, not on your entire lizard pack, but it's definitely easier said than done, and if you over micro there, you can take a lot of damage and lose a lot of units in that process. But so far, Tuesday has not committed to any farms on this mill. He knows the situation, knows that this is very tense, definitely respecting the push. And Draz, man, alright, let's see some moles. It's the only thing missing here. There's the expansion. Oh, man, and if Tuesday just stays on all these lizards, Draz can sneak out a boar warren, you know. Alright, needs to be careful with this toad. Does not want to let this toad blow up. There it goes. But maybe it's okay. There's still a lot of tier 1 here for Draz. But I think Tuesday's got the critical mass of lizards here to just run this over. These pigeons really not helping in small numbers like this. Yeah, nice decision there from Tuesday to go in. And yeah, you really, you know, 1 or 2 toads is not going to cut it. You need a nice group, you know, 3 or 4 toads. And this is how quickly things can change, as now Tuesday is beginning to do critical damage here to Draz's main. And honestly, like, Draz just is going to have to tap here. You know, they've still got a lot of money in the bank, but just losing so many warrens like that. We're only at the 4-minute mark, so Tuesday's still got plenty of times on 8 farms. Oh my god, Draz. Dude, I love this player already. Oh, he's giving it away a little bit, though. He's giving... Oh, that lizard caught him. That lizard caught him. He shouldn't win this base race anyways. But if he got, like, 6 moles together, I'm not enough of a mole player to know the math, but like maybe 6 moles could have got into that mill. That was like the perfect little spot too. Nice try. But Tuesday was some solid play, keeping his eye on what his opponent's doing, building up a bunch of lizards. Able to take that one. So that brings us to 1-1, and this is a little round robin bracket. I can actually link the bracket here in the chat. Okay, spawning in the right side, we've got Draz doing an impression of the player to the top left, Tuesday. Snagging basically the same deck, except for switching out the Badger for the Balloon here. And Squirrel for Lizard. Lizard for Squirrel, rather. Oh, wait. Squirrel for Lizard. Yeah, I said it right the first time. I can't doubt myself, man. Okay. Again, both of these decks here are definitely decks that have high hopes. You know, they want to skirt through the early game, skirt through the mid game, and get to that big chonky late game with lots of tier 3 units with the snakes. You know, the owl snake composition is very strong. It's hard to deal with. One of the best ways to deal with it is not letting it happen, in my opinion. It's kind of one of those things. It's like Protoss and Brood War, you know. People will be theorizing, well, what do you do when Protoss has mass carriers? Well, you don't let them get to mass carriers. That's what you do, you know. So I think these kinds of strategies can... By the way, we got a 5-farm triple out of Tuesdays, and did Draz scout it? No. Nice little bait and switch there from Tuesday, showing, oh yeah, I'm just going right up to 8 farms, and then selling into triple tier 1 here. Strawberry in the house. What's up, man? Good to see you, dude. We should do some casting together sometime. Strawberry is one of the OGs, even more OG than me. Alright, big attack coming in from Tuesday. I don't think... Did Draz ever actually scout it? I believe so. It looked like his last scout, he did see that a couple farms were sold. And yeah, there was some damage dealt there. However, in my opinion, maybe not enough. Actually, trying to go into Tier 2 from this position is a little bit bold. But you gotta keep in mind, you know, Tuesday's only on 5 farms. So, yeah, you got that Warren, but he needs a little more damage. And with these squirrels on defense here, I don't think he's gonna get it. This is looking pretty good for Draz. Yeah, Tuesdays realizes it's over, gonna go home. Honestly, I think you should sell one of those. Yeah, get the farms going again. We'll see what happens. What's up, Protocam? What's up, Daffy? Everybody in chat, good to see y'all. I appreciate y'all tuning in on a Tuesday night. Not exactly regular time for me. But we're starting back up tournament season, guys. This is the preseason cup. It's going to be kind of a shorter event that is planned to just last, I think, for like a few weeks here at the end of the year. We're going to be playing on the PTR, testing out some of the balance changes. It's a lot of fun. Definitely sign up if you haven't already. Ooh, losing the commander there. That is always rough. This is leaving these forces exposed, but Tuesday, does he have enough to deal with this regardless? It doesn't look like it. These early skunks really getting some damage in. I mean, traditionally skunks are not exactly the best unit against lizards, but to be honest, sometimes that kind of thing doesn't matter as much as we like to say it does, you know. In small numbers, they got big HP pools, they're dealing some damage. And the skunk is just essentially tanking. Like, yeah, the skunk gas is nice, but the lizards can bob and weave out of it a little bit. But Draz needs to be careful. Trying to build up to 4 skunks here. Doesn't have a whole lot of tier 1. Losing these skunks is actually a pretty big deal. It's a big money investment, a big tempo investment, having to rebuild those. You know, they're supply blocked, and I think Draz is just overextending a little bit. Did get some damage done though. Knocked out a couple farms. And Tuesday looks like sold off that back farm before it finished building, maybe when the attack started. So, let's see. Oh, I like this a lot from Draz, man. Just selling off those skunks, building more and more squirrels here. Sometimes this is all you need. Just build up a lot of tier 1. They reproduce very, very quickly. You can get some more out. They're kind of cheap and cost effective. But lizards just kind of rail squirrels in similar numbers as we see here. You know, I think Draz tried to be a little bit too aggressive, a little too quickly there. You know, I think that big squirrel switch was the right call, but it needed to wait just a little bit longer. You know, now he's starting to give Tuesday some breathing room, but will it matter is the question. Ooh. All 4 of the starting farms for Tuesday were the farms that were still there. That's something that is interesting to think about in situations like this. You know, like when you lose a pig, was it a starting pig? You know what I mean? Because if it was a starting pig, then it wouldn't have been as big of a deal. Like, Tuesday could have still had 3 farms going right now, and instead is down to 1. So this is kind of the last hurrah here for Tuesday, man. Gonna save up to these 15 lizards and swing. He's tapping all, man. You know, Draz has got that second base up and running. He's working on double tier 2 here. How is Tuesday going to do this? Honestly, so much damage got dealt earlier on. Like, Tuesday's 5-farm triple attack really didn't get the returns that he was looking for. And then the follow-up attacks from Draz, you know. Yeah, some of the trades, you know, losing the skunks kind of hurts, but, I mean, killing those farms, man. And Tuesday never having the opportunity to rebuild. Kind of interesting seeing the vision icon constantly going as the commander standing there. And Draz just looking at him like, what are you going to do, man? What are you going to do? Just hanging on. Okay, so I'm not sure if Darius and Knight are in position ready to roll for the next match. And here we go. This is it for Tuesday, man. This is the last stand. But all the skunks so tanky. Tuesday is gonna have to tap, and Draz winning his first match here. Keep in mind that this is round robin. So all the players will play 3 times regardless. And okay, Ratan will replace Darius. Okay, and I believe Satoros is currently streaming the other round 1 match. Let me check in on Satoros' channel. If you're not already watching Satoros' channel, tune in there as well. Oh, is he done? Oh, no, I think he's changing. I think he's getting ready. Okay, yeah, so he's about to do that one. I wonder if the stars align for a round 2 match. Let me take a look at the brackets here. Are we waiting? Are we waiting for round 1 to finish? I think we gotta wait for round 1 to finish before the next round starts. So in that case, how about we do a couple replays? What do I got? What do I got? I should have set this up earlier, but I was too busy playing. What do we want to watch? How about some Big Pimpin' Tosh versus Mochaccino? That sounds like fun. Oh, wait, it's not going to work because I'm on PTR. Okay. No, that's fine. That's fine. We'll make it happen. Give me a second. If you want to see more of the coverage of the event right now, check out Satoros' stream. In the meantime, let me throw up some Fleur versus Melvin. That sounds pretty good. Yeah, get that one going. Ooh, Meek versus Trumpet. Let's go. And maybe how about 2 Meows versus Ziggy? Alright, so we got a few replays we can do in the meantime here. Alright. Let me kick it to a break screen as I hop over to regular Tooth and Tail. There's no music. It's very quiet. You're just left with the sound of my voice. But the music will be back soon. I promise. Bam. Already done. Look at that. Alright, what do we want to watch? We got Tosh and Mocha, Floor and Melvin, Meek and Trumpet, and 2 Muse versus Ziggy. While we wait. Bam. Wait. Oh. No, that's a black screen. Oh, there it is. Okay. We got Trumpet in the chat. Alright, let's watch the Trumpet game here. Oh, Meek versus Trumpet. Let's go. Okay. What do we got going on here? On the left, we've got Meek. And on the right, we've got Trumpet. If you're just tuning in, guys, I'm waiting on round 1 to finish over on Satoros' channel, so I figured in the meantime, I will get to some of these replays on my backlog. Both players with Ferret Balloon here and Squirrel. Okay. Trumpet's deck, you know, it looks like more of a reasonable way to try to make this Ferret Balloon kind of style work, you know? Because it's still got that core of, like, Squirrel, Pigeon, Skunk, Badger. I actually like that a lot because, you know, unless it's Magical Christmas Land where the Ferret Balloon works really nicely with the RNG, you can always fall back on that classic Skunk, Pigeon, Squirrel style with the Badger to top it all off. Meanwhile, Meek is a little bit more all-in on this ferret style here, you know, with both turret and balloon. Got some lizards in there, got some moles. So, pretty interesting decks from both sides. And I am taking a peek over on Satoru's stream. Might be a while. I don't think those matches have started yet. Okay, I think they're about to start now. Yeah, I think they're having a couple issues trying to get it all rolling. It's no problem. I have a million replays we can buy some time with. Alright, Meek with the Manor Moles here in the middle of the map. Curious what's going on with these. Are they just to take out the cabins? To start setting up some defenses? Oh, that's a 5-head play right there. I like it. Okay, 8 farm double from Trumpet, getting into that second base. So far, so good. Nice standard stuff. Oh no, Meek's moving in. Bringing the squirrels, bringing the boys. Okay, what's the plan, Meek? Gonna get this cabin. Step 1. Step 2, question mark. Step 3, profit. Oh, here he goes. Oh, lordy coming. Alright, Gristmill on the way. Meanwhile, Trumpet not building any farms. That's an important distinction to make here. You know, was ready to roll the Gristmill, but said, okay, Meek is up to some shenaniganery here. Let me throw down a bunch of tier 1. Always a safe thing to do when your opponents are up to no good. Here come the turrets. Trumpet needs to decide if he's going to move in on this. Actually does not. Is going to let the turrets come up. Maybe because he's got ferrets? That's probably why. You know, if he didn't have ferrets, maybe the move is to try to just rush in on it. But I can kind of understand that decision making. It's like, ah, whatever, a couple turrets, I got ferrets, no big deal. The problem is when the balloon comes up, though. And balloon number 1 is on the way. Meek wasting no time here. Even with the proxy ferret Warren. Definitely all in. But to be honest, this is a really good map to try to do this sort of thing on. I mean, Trumpet is contained. He does have this way to come out through the back and attack in if absolutely necessary. Actually going up to 4 ferrets. Here comes a harassment. This balloon getting this nice vision going. And Meek is just going to dance with some units up front. Try to protect these turrets. We got a ferret dance-off going on. But this is starting to look good for Meek. You know, the RNG of the pigs working out for now, but not forever. I don't think it was intentional, but the pig stopped moving when it was shooting. Ooh! Is that almost a dead ferret? Needs to be careful. Alright, Trumpet hoping he can buy some time for a Badger to try to bust through this. But, I mean, maybe the move is the base race. Well, you would have to come back and kill this mill is the problem. Trumpet can try to dance with his ferrets and stop the enemy ferrets from getting any value connections. But this is looking bad. The old ferret balloon turret cheese, man. Trick as old as time. Alright, one of the ferrets did drop down for Meek. But let's see, man. Badger's on the way. Is the Badger going to be enough with all this tier 1 to kind of buffer for him? Keep in mind those Warrens that Trumpet lost. Like, yeah, it sucks losing Warrens, but in this position it doesn't really matter that much. Since the units aren't dying. And if Trumpet is going to rely on this big one push. Ooh, we got to be careful with these ferrets now. Them not having those Warrens isn't a huge deal. Ooh, needs to be careful. He put these ferrets in some water. But Trumpet's ferrets starting to bite back here, starting to get their own damage done. Meek selling off those turrets, realizing they're not long for the world. Ooh, that balloon gonna shoot you down. Alright, so now it's only a single balloon. And Trumpet's got a hell of an army put together. So that is a lot of squirrels from Meek. Here we go. This is the moment we've been waiting for. Can the Badger break through here? Nothing else to really have to go through. The Badger is staying alive for now. But a lot of the supporting units have gone down. And keep in mind, Meek is on a much more accelerated economy here. We are at the 6-minute mark, so those main bases are starting to fallow out on the farms. But man, a Badger with some pigeons and some good micro can definitely make some dreams happen here. And I mean, this thing is just unkillable unless you have the critical mass to strike it down immediately. And yeah, it looks like this Badger will allow Trumpet to get victory in this match. I mean, Meek's just got nothing left. And if Meek just like YOLO Molo'd, yeah, I mean, that's the move, but is it gonna work? I don't think so. Trumpet is a smart player. Trumpet is gonna go for these gristmills immediately. Maybe he's already thinking he's got this in the bag. Oh, there's this sneaky mill over the side though, Meek. Oh my god, Meek. Alright, Trumpet doesn't actually have the money to take any mills. Alright, Meek. Oh my gosh. Here it comes. Oh, dude, Meek's got it. Meek wins. The classic mole all-in when you should lose. Trumpet's like, no, 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 no. Desperately trying to get a hold, but that is just too many moles. That was a really fun game. That was a good submission. Okay, it does look like Rattan subbed in for Darius. Darius wasn't able to make it, and their matches are underway. They're in their first match right now. So it looks like we've got some time for some more replays here. See, I'm giving you like a mini feast for missing Friday. So there you go. Nobody can yell at me. All right, let's see some Tosh versus Mocha. And in bottom left, we've got Big Pimpatosh. His opponent to the top right, Mochaccino. Double tier 3 from both sides. 3 defensive structures from Tosh. So Tosh is known for these wonky decks. Can definitely make it work though. And Mocha is playing a little bit more tried and true. I like the cam over the skunk. That's not something we see very often nowadays. I think the cam deals better with the lizards. The skunks deal better with the squirrels. They both can scale quite nicely in the late game. Oh, the main reason Mocha is running the cam here is because he's got that Wolf. And Wolf buffed cam. Falcon is definitely the way to go about it. And meanwhile, Tosh, you know, the Wolf is kind of interesting from his point of view. I think the snake is what we should see in that slot. You know, just from I actually think like Squirrel, Snake, Owl with those defenses, like that is a viable deck. It is a little bit memey. Little 8-farm mole shenanigans going on there, but no harm, no foul. Tosh needs to sell that turret. There he goes. And we're gonna get into some quick expos. Both players kind of more macro-oriented to start with, so going for this 8-farm single into a mill is not super threatening, especially when you've got some decent rush distances here. Map is fairly even. It's hard to say who I like it better for. I mean, if you look at the split, you know, Mocha does have this 4th mill up on the high ground. But I kind of like Tasha's starting position better with these triple mills like this, you know. This mill might be a little difficult to deal with, and Mocha is smelling what Tosh is cooking here and does not want to let this get up and running. Even already had the moles over on the side, but not enough squirrels. And we're seeing this weird situation where the balloon is actually very effective against tier 1. You know, when you don't have that critical mass to get in there and immediately knock it down. So let's play for Mocha. Mocha actually sold that mill too. I wasn't paying close enough attention. But now gonna get into it. And gonna go for the Wolf. I was thinking maybe Boar, but instead gonna go for Wolf. and perhaps gonna build into Cam Falcon or just rely on squirrels or maybe mainly use the wolf to get that economy going. And there's a lot of different ways to play the wolf. It's a really versatile unit. It doesn't scream like timing attack like a badger or a boar does. So be really curious. You know, Mocha's probably more experienced with this than your average bear. You know, when I run against something like this on the ladder, I don't play often enough where I'm like, okay, I know the if then else statement, you know, to beat this. So I'm curious if Mocha does have the secret sauce here, and is like, oh, I know what you're doing. I know you're going for this defensive turtle into owls, and this is how you deal with it. Or if Mocha is also kind of in that position where he's like trying to figure out what the best way to go about this is. But what's alarming to me is Tosh has taken a large economy lead, and Mocha is aware of it. Mocha knows that he's down several farms right now, and just trying to slowly kind of wean him in. I think selling off a squirrel war in here to get those extra farms up and running a little bit faster might be a good play. I think when you've seen all this defense out of Tosh, it's a pretty safe assumption that he's not going to attack immediately. And here is the fruit of the labor here from Tosh, getting into triple tier 3. Now, what Mocha's bringing to the table, though, like, I actually think can go toe-to-toe in the late game with what Tosh has, right? The Wolf Owl is not the best pair in the world. And the boars should be able to deal with the mice quite nicely. The cams can get in, get some nice damage done, do some good tanking on the front line. You start scaling out with more and more falcons and cams, even getting up to like a second boar. And I think you can hang in the late game against several owls. We'll have to see. And we've got some bangers so far as far as these replays are concerned. Let me take a look at Satoros' matches. It looks like game number 1 just finished. Okay. In the series. I like his overlay. I think that's one of the QQs. Maybe that's like QQ's latest iteration. You pick that up. My scoreboard is homemade and it looks okay, but his scoreboard definitely looks better. Alright, Mocha trying to poke in, but I don't think got the critical mass just yet. Actually losing a lot there for free. And man, I tell you what, this can be very difficult to deal with, to try to dismantle. Going up to lots of farms here is Mocha. No cams. I think that kind of makes sense, but at the same time, I wouldn't hate to see some cams on the ground to soak some hits. I guess it's a bit rougher when you don't have like pigeons. Tosh gonna come in here and just annihilate. Gonna have to sell these farms so they don't die. Okay, the mice are not gonna pick off anymore. Nice selling there for Mocha. Was in a good spot for that harassment. But this is a balloon wall coming up, ladies and gentlemen. This is a very difficult thing to deal with. Mocha needs to just go through this back door, man. But that causes a base race, I suppose. And in the late game, Mocha does have access to that 4th mill. However, I'm really skeptical to give a lot of merit to Mocha for that. Because Tosh's comp is just very, very cost effective, right? Like, yeah, Mocha will get some more money. But Tosh, in theory, doesn't need as much money. And this is rough. Like, how do you break through that many balloons? Yeah, I think you need the cams. You just get the cams in there to kind of tank for you. I had a similar match with Meek at one point. He didn't have the owls, but I had Wolf Cam Falcon. And yeah, I just eventually... And he just had this crazy amount of artillery and balloon. But the Wolf Cam Falcon can bust it. Does Mocha know about the sneaky route? He does. Alright, now he's going for it. Alright, so now he's going to force a fight out of Tosh, where Tosh does not get to use all of his defense. And in theory, this should go nicely for Mocha, losing a lot of these Falcons up front, though. Tosh does not have that many units that can actually shoot up, just relying on the squirrels. But the wolf goes down. That is why Mocha was bleeding off a couple Falcons. Really trying to target that down. Look at that 1 HP left on Mocha's commander. Does fall, leaving all these units vulnerable. But can Tosh really do anything about it? The problem, though, are the additional units that are bleeding in. Oh my gosh, and this retreat path is just brutal for Mocha. Tries to rally his army through, but loses the tier 3. However, the Falcons come over, and the Owls are starting to go down. This game is just becoming a train wreck. Tosh's mice knocking out that mill there. This is a silly game. Alright, some more tier 3 on the way for both sides. Now, Mocha does have the better economy. Oh man, that Artie. Oh yeah, that Artie probably just killed that mill. What was I thinking? I thought the mice did. Nice job knocking that out. I am starting to fast forward just a bit. Oh my god, are these mice gonna get the mill? They've already gotten so many pigs, the mill might go down. No, it's at like 1 HP. Now we're in a crazy position. Mocha's definitely got the superior army, but Tosh can turtle behind his balloons. There's really not a whole lot Mocha can do about it, losing that last cam there. There's gotta be a way. Like, maybe you can come in, get this mill, and then super sneak. Look at this sneaky alley, all the way back to that base. But right when you start trying to do this sort of thing, here's Tosh with the mice. Honestly, if Mocha just rallies his commander, if he doesn't rally, moves his commander down, attacks that mill, these Falcons shouldn't take too much damage from the balloons. Needs to be careful how he goes about this, though. They're going to go straight engage into these balloons. And that is going to be devastating. Yeah, these Falcons are not really affected by the mice, but they kind of are, right? When the Falcons are wasting their DPS on it, and Tosh ends up taking it. That was a crazy game. I don't think he played like trash, man. Those kinds of games are super weird. I often lose them as well. It's not something you typically go about. I don't mean it like that, man. I don't think I was being mean. Was I being mean? Try not to be mean. It's really easy when you have the whole view of the map, you know what I mean? Compared to when you're in the heat of the game. Alright, how is the other match going? Looks like Night Slayer is up 1-0. But Rattan is definitely fighting back. Lots of lizards and skunks. Okay. So I think, what else do we got here? We got 2 more. Let's take a look at Floor versus Melvin. While we wait for the last match to finish here. In the bottom right, we got Floor Delise, and the opponent at the top left, Melvin Fro. Man, I'm seeing some really cool decks today. You know, in the preliminary matches that we saw. Just looking at my deck here, I know it's gonna. Dude, here's what I think Fleur's gonna do. Right, Fleur's gonna try to build a couple turrets, try to dissuade Melvin from attacking, sneak out a Badger, and YOLO in there. Look at this. Oh man, all tier 1 plus the Badger. Let's go. Yeah. Floor is all in on this Badger idea. Meanwhile, Melvin, I like Melvin's comp because, you know, Melvin's relying on like Squirrel, Skunk mainly, and Falcon I suppose too, to basically be those like core units to kind of make way for some of the other nonsense. You know, like I don't think you could call like Boar, Fox nonsense per se. Especially not Boar, I suppose. So yeah, I want to rephrase that. I think it's more like Squirrel, Skunk, Falcon, Boar. You know, is like the core here, and then Melvin's got the Ferrets and the Fox to get that value to poke in if the situation or the map dictates that it's possible. Melvin's like a really strong player, man. I've always, I don't know what it is. Like, I remember back in the day when Melvin's always been good, you know, but he was like a solid player, right? Where am I going with this? All I'm saying is hard for my brain to wrap around how good Melvin is now, because for the longest time, you know, he was solid, right? Solid, strong player, but not like top tier, and now he's definitely a top tier player. He definitely climbed that esports ladder in the tooth and tail scene, and he's definitely a force to be reckoned with. Like, I would play Melvin on the ladder, you know what I mean, back in the day, and maybe even have like a positive win rate, right? Like, win some, lose some, maybe mostly win. Now, if I play Melvin, he just beats me every time. And Melvin scouted the Badger and is not afraid of the turrets so far. But let's see, man. Flair's got a lot of squirrels here. Melvin's going to have to back out for now. And, you know, this typically isn't the way to go about it. I think Melvin kind of blundered here. This is what seems like the right way to deal with a Tier 3 rush. Like, okay, I'm going to get in there and break them before that Tier 3 hits the board. But a lot of times, especially when the opponent has turrets, that's very difficult. Now, I am worried for Floor here because these Warrens up here on the high ground are not protected by these turrets. And Melvin has a significant squirrel advantage here. Now, these turrets will be annoying for Melvin's reinforcements, but if Melvin could just break through right here, right now, one of the Squirrel Warrens already going down. What's good for Floor is that the Badgers already began. And yeah, Floor is going to hold. But yeah, so it seems it's a little counterintuitive. You know, you see your opponent going for like a Tier 3 on one base, and sometimes you can get in there and knock it out, especially if you have moles or something like that, you know. But a lot of times the response is to just kind of macro up. It's like, all right, I got like 2 minutes, 2.5 minutes until that Tier 3 is at my door. And, you know, get some farms going, get some Falcons going, and brace for impact. Because now I think this is a really good position for Floor. Look, the Falcons are on the way, but it might be too little too late here. And the Badger is just one of those units, man. You micro it right, and it will just snowball through everything. But let's see, does Floor have enough supporting units to actually get it done here? Only a few pigeons to heal the Badger, but the Falcons are going down, and yeah, I mean, such a large HP pool from the Badger. Melvin already knows what's up. Taps out. And Floor takes it with the old turret Badger one base. I love to see it. Okay, looks like they are still in match 2 of Rattan vs. Night Slayer. So we got time for some more replays. Alright, what do I got left? I got 2 Meows versus Ziggy. Am I going to have to throw in some more? They're really getting after it over there. Rattan's got 4 skunks. I can't just like I just want to cast the game that's happening. Oh man, it looks like Rattan is about to win. So yeah, they're gonna go to game 3. Okay, alright. Real quick, we got one more here. On the left side, we've got Ziggy. And up top to the right, 2 Meows. That's QQ, isn't it? Pretty sure that's QQ. Okay, let's take a look at these decks. Yeah, that's definitely QQ. I could tell right away. Dude, I gotta steal that deck, man. I gotta try that out. I gotta take it out for a test drive on the ladder one of these nights. It's a really creative style that QQ makes work, and it doesn't look like it should work in like the hyper late game, you know, but it does. I mean, ferrets can get absolutely bananas when you get up to like 4, 6, or 8 of them. You know, lizards are just always nice to have in the pocket in case things go wrong. I mean, you could just straight up mass lizards and not build anything else. You can try to base race with them. You can threaten flanks. Very versatile unit. And the boar-fox combo actually works out quite nice. So kind of what QQ's looking to do here is cut off a nice piece of the map, with the barbed wire, with the balloons, and use that as a staging point to just poke you to death with Fox Ferret. And if necessary, can always just build that boar and go in, or build lizards or however else wants to go about it. Meanwhile, Ziggy's just got more of a nice deck here. I think the cams are not as popular these days, but can definitely still work. Cams are in an interesting position because, in my opinion, actually, 2 Meows came in for the rush here, and Ziggy's going to take some hits. I wasn't looking super closely at the opening builds, but I think he just went 8 farm double and just kind of came in for that poke. And Ziggy, with his warrens over here, just kind of wasn't in the right place at the right time. Oh man, QQ even picking up a couple of those pieces of wire there. And bringing out the ferrets already, okay. Where I was going. Oh yeah, chameleons, I feel like chameleons are an interesting spot, right? For a few reasons. Like, lizards and barbed wire are popular. Those are units that chameleons excel against. But snakes are also popular, which chameleons do poorly against. And that's it. That was my entire point. Thanks, Delphius, for the tooth and tail wisdom. You're welcome. Alright, ferrets on the way here. Snakes as well. And ferret versus snake, I kind of favor the snake. If they can get in close enough, you get that 1 stack of poison. And that's about all she wrote. Meanwhile, the ferrets have a difficult time ever landing a shot on the snake. So let's see how this one advances. Keeping an eye on the other matches here. I do not want to slow down the event so we can watch some replays. I'm just buying us some time. Reaching into my old bag of replays here. Alright, we got a boar on the way. Ziggy does scout it. Lots of barbed wire from both sides. This looks like it is going to start becoming a long game here. I need to keep my eye on Satoros' stream to determine how much I have to fast forward through this, or else I'm going to leave everybody on a cliffhanger. That is a ridiculous amount of barbed wire. I mean, that's at least like 4 pieces of barbed wire right there. Oh man, Ziggy looking... Oh wait, is he going to try to get high ground vision and then snipe it from afar? Oh my god, Ziggy signed my mouse pad, dude. Oh, I'm going to lose a lot of lizards in the process. Unfortunately, because since they couldn't find a tile, they rallied through it. He loses like all the lizards. But definitely style points there. That was a cool idea. How are things looking between Rattan and Night Slayer? Look like they're heading into a macro game. This is a big map. Alright, they're on a big map here. So it looks like it can definitely be a macro game. Maybe we got some time to enjoy a little more bloodshed here. Alright, who even needs that much barbed wire? What are we doing here? What's going on? Ooh, gotta be careful. Don't want those snakes to get those ferrets. Don't ferrets beat snakes in real life? Or am I thinking of of the mongoose? Did anybody else read that book, Rikki Tikki Tavi, in like elementary school? I don't know why, I just like really like that book, man. There's a story of like this mongoose that kicked the crap out of some snakes. I mean, I feel like a ferret could mess up a snake in real life, right? I guess it would depend on who got first blood. Man, Ziggy busting through there. Getting a couple balloons, but here's the fox. There's a boar on the way, too. Like, out of all the tooth and tail units, what is, like, the real-life winner? I guess the boar? Right? Like, I was gonna say the fox. Like, fox could definitely kill a snake, chameleon, ferret, any of that kind of thing. But no, man, I think the boar. If we did, like, real-life tooth and tail, the boar would just obliterate everything. Ooh, that's a lot of green here, but trying to bust through this absurd amount of barbed wire, Ziggy is going to have to back up. This Fox trying to get some value, but Lizards and Chameleons are not exactly the units that Fox wants to fight. Getting some more Toasty with the boar. Toasty Roasty, but that single snake is going to kill both of these tier 3, man. Nicely done from Ziggy there. This is a weird game. Tonight's been nothing but weird games. Have we seen a regular game yet tonight? That is the question. I think the answer is no. Alright, I do need to fast forward this. It seems like it's going to be a long one here. Who's winning? It's kind of hard to say. I mean, this is a lot of barbed wire. But the barbed wire is really what's keeping QQ in this. Maybe once QQ gets out his boar. I don't think he needs the ferrets. Like, he needs to sell the ferrets. Build up some lizards. Maybe sell some of this redundant barbed wire too. Yeah, and get this big, like, lizard, boar, fox army, right? And just get the lizards to kind of buffer for the tier 3. Hopefully make it a little more difficult for Ziggy to get the stacks he's looking for. You know, QQ actually doesn't have a lot of units. Alright, how's this other match looking? They're on third bases. It's a proper slugfest going on over there on Satoros' channel. We got Meat Casting too. Why am I not following him on this account? I think I'm following him on my other account. Bam, there we go. We got the Satoros follow. If you are not following Satoros, you should be. Alright, Ziggy's still relying on these lizards and snakes, trying to get another gristmill established. Is QQ here. But I just don't feel like QQ's got the meat, you know? He's all sizzle, he's no steak here. He needs... He's starting to build up to those lizards, but really doesn't have an economy anymore. Like, desperately trying to take another base, and as you can see, Ziggy is just making sure that doesn't happen. Like, has invested the 60 food to just take every other gristmill on the map to just know that QQ cannot have another base. Let's see if QQ can pull a rabbit out of the hat here. Yeah, he needs to sell off some of this other stuff and just build up some lizards, man. And I think he's got this. Neither player has an economy anymore. Still gonna try to poke around with the fox. Get whatever he can. Yeah, start selling that wire. You know what I'm saying? Oh, he's actually starving. Okay, but he does have this one farm that was taken out earlier. So we can kind of wait and build that. Just gonna go ahead and take it now. Ooh, that is rough, man. 60 food down the drain from Ziggy keeping those cams there. That was a really smart play from Ziggy. But I think this army from QQ wins this? I mean, it should? Ooh, getting this poison stacks on the fox. I think 2 is not enough if it's at full HP. And that is going to be it. I think Ziggy taps from here. But another crazy match for your halftime entertainment, I suppose. Alright, things are getting crazy with on the Satoros stream right now. We got some artillery cannon being built. 9.5 minutes into Rattan versus Night Slayer over there. A nice victory from QQ for definitely another weird game. Alright, that match has got to be ending here shortly. So I think what I'm going to do is go ahead and get back in position on the PTR. Maybe use the restroom, grab a drink. I'll throw up that screen. And we'll get ready for round number 2. Coming up momentarily. Up back on that PTR. Zippity-doo-dah. All right. And we are back in business here. There we go. Let me get my lobby up and running again. Okay. So, Draz took round 1 on the Tooth to Tail TV stream over here. Meanwhile, the other matches are continuing on Satoros' stream. Looks like Horos beat Nicolaccio 2-1, and Rattan and Night Slayer are finishing up their match right now. So I'm going to kick it to a brief break, everybody, and we will see you shortly when we're ready to start round 2. Okay, looks like we are ready to continue here. Alright, how about we get Tuesday and Rattan to hop on in and keep this thing moving. Again, appreciate everybody hanging out. Looks like we got good viewership on both channels here, which is awesome. And what we're doing right now is some preliminary matches for the preseason cup. The preseason cup is kind of just a fun event that's happening in between the regular TnT Championships. A little bit shorter. And it's going to be a lot of fun. So what we're doing right now is determining where these newer players are going to be placed. The top 2 scorers get to go into intermediate division, and everybody else will start off in beginners. But if you haven't signed up yet for the preseason cup, please do. It is in the regular Mochaccino Tooth and Tail Championship Discord. It's going to be a lot of fun. I think it's kind of a shorter event, so it's not a huge time commitment. So definitely check that out if you haven't already. Just linked the Discord in the chat. Oh yeah, they're probably waiting on me. Yeah, there we go. We're off to the races. I'm sorry, Satoros. I snagged the players that were ready. Okay, so we're back to the actual matches here. Well, we got to get into some fun replays. Those were good. I enjoyed those. Thanks a lot for those submissions. In the bottom, we've got Rattan as opponent to the top left, Tuesday. All right, man. I feel like Rattan beat me in what was it? In the Magnificent 21? I want to say. He beat me in some tournament match. I can't remember. My memory's terrible. Well, it couldn't have been. Yeah, it had to have been that, right? Because he didn't play the previous TnT Championship, because that's what we're doing right now. I'm figuring things out. Yeah. Yeah, no, I think I lost my match against Rattan in the Magnificent 21, if I recall correctly. I think he got me with some lizard shenanigans and some like barbed wire and things like that I wasn't ready for. So both players are rushing here, which is kind of funny. Like, neither player scouted that the other one was rushing. They just both went for the 6-farm lizard opening. Rattan played last season under the name Daffy. Oh, okay, so maybe it was that. That's right. So that's kind of funny. Both players here trying to rush their opponent. And, you know, I actually do like some of these pre-8-farm lizard openings, you know. Especially if your opponent responds to it. Like, I've tested out. I mean, Chip used to do this way back in the day, but, like, go for, like, a 5-farm Warren, right? Force your opponent to respond. And then if they don't respond, obviously run in there, get some damage done. But if they do respond, then you can just supply block yourself with queued farms and never actually build any tier 1 out of that Warren, which puts you 60 food ahead in farm production, if that makes sense, right? Because your opponent built the units, you didn't. So that's a fun little trick to do. But so far, just one base from both sides. Map is definitely looking better for Rattan here. Getting into some quick skunks. Now again, skunks are not exactly what you're looking for against lizards, but they definitely can work. Ooh, Tuesday getting harassed while trying to go over there and take the mill. Actually, took the mill, canceled the mill, threw down a tier 2 Warren, and is going to chase this back home. Does actually have the superior number of lizards here. So if Rattan's not careful, maybe Tuesday can return the favor. We're going to lose that turret too. So yeah, this is actually starting to look pretty good for Tuesday. Needs to commit though. Kind of bobbing and weaving. And overall, yeah, I think I like that better for Tuesday. What sucks though is losing that farm, right? That's actually a huge deal. And I think Tuesday needed to kind of move in from this angle as he was chasing Rattan back to take out that pig and return the favor. Because right now, you know, Rattan is still in the lead. You know, 7 to 8 farms is pretty significant. That's like a 10 or 12% difference in economy. But Tuesday trying to go up to double skunk. And again, you know, double skunk or skunks in general are really strong against squirrel. Let's see how it works out here against lizards. Typically, what I like to play with squizzard comps, and then I'll use my lizards to jump in on the opponent's skunks, right? But here, you're kind of in a weird spot, because if you try to all in with your lizards, like onto the skunks, maybe you're taking a lot of extra damage, like as you're running past that other tier 1. Rattan going into some farms here. Single turret to defend. And so far, I do like this better for Rattan. I mean, the cams are a little bit more appropriate against the lizard. However, you know, Tuesday took some punches in the early game, punched back a little bit. And now if Tuesday can just kind of let the game go on, right? Keep matching Rattan on the second base. Hell, even try to get like a farm or 2 ahead. You know, Tuesday does have this like ultimate late game comp, you know, with the triple tier 3 and the snakes. So if Tuesday can find a way to drag this game out long, they're going to be in a really good spot. And Badger's already on the way here. And Rattan really needs to scout this Badger. This is an important scout. I don't even know where the Warren is. Ooh, does not see it. Where? Oh, now he sees it. Okay, Rattan did see the Badger. And how is Rattan going to react? You can definitely sell off the turrets. Maybe try to build into some falcons. No, instead is just going to mow down on the lizards. Maybe try to attack before this Badger gets up and running. I would have loved to see the sell on those turrets. Ooh. Are we going to Metal Gear Solid Chameleon in there and get the Badger Warren? No, just setting up for a big attack. Is just hoping to break Tuesday before Tuesday can get to that Badger, and it might just work. A lot of units are falling. Rattan's still got a couple units left over here. He's got the cam still up and running. Oh my gosh, is it going to work? Just a little bit of HP left on these cams. Trying to target down that Badger Warren, but no. Overextended there, and Tuesday is able to clean everything up. Is fighting back, is chasing down these lizards, and now I think Rattan is in a little bit of a checkmate position. Once Tuesday gets his Badger up, I mean, Rattan just does not have an answer for it. Alright, Rattan looking to get some damage done from the side here. And I think this is smart from Rattan, right? Like, try to turn this into a base race. Oh, I was going to go for that Warren, which is a little bit of wishful thinking. The Badger's already here. But this is smart from Rattan, right? Like, try to delay this engagement. Because Rattan realizes they're not going to win the fight. But unfortunately for Rattan, Tuesday wasn't far enough out on the map where it puts Tuesday in this awkward situation where it's like, do I keep going in? Do I, you know, try to go back and defend? And this Badger's just going to roll it over, and Tuesday going to take map number 1 here. Definitely a good recovery from a little bit of a rough early game there. It looks like Night Slayer and Nicolaccio is going on over on Satoros' channel. Oh, Draz is a FXB player, right on. I just now know that. Over in the bottom left, we've got Tuesday, and up top, Rattan. FXB, man, trying to take over the Tooth and Tail scene. I like it. But that means we need another clan to rise up, right? With some cool letters. To be their rivals. You know, you need to have a good rival for an anime. You know what I'm saying? You can't have Ash without Gary. Goku without Vegeta. Alright, Rattan moving in here. He's taking a quick scout. This map looks okay. I mean, yeah, if you really analyze it, Tuesday does have more bases available. But, I mean, Rattan, I mean, come on, you got 3 bases. That's all you need. So, looks like 8 farm openings for both sides. Tuesday actually going for a 7 farm mill into lizards and to queuing a farm. Meanwhile, Rattan just hasn't really committed to the second thing yet. We're definitely going to see either another tier 1 or another mill. Going for the mill, I do like that. The map is big enough to where that's not super risky. And let's see how they're going to play it. You know, both sides got the Badger, Lizard. Again, Tuesday's got this deck. This is the deck for Tuesday, it seems like, in this tournament. Or at least tonight. And Rattan has changed it up a bit, rocking that turret artillery. And we might have a macro game on our hands here. Both sides kind of getting into it here. I love macro games, man. If I see my opponent wants to match me on farms, I'll just go total 8 farms on second base, like, immediately. You gotta be careful of that kind of thing. You gotta scout, you know. If you just throw down 8 farms on that second base and your opponent just keeps making tier 1, you can definitely get ran over. But yeah, in a situation like this, like if I came in with as Tuesday, I saw 3 farms in my 2, I just build like 5 or 6 farms. Like, all right, man, if that's how we're playing this. And let's see what Rattan can do here. You know, who won? Now, Tuesday did not win their match, right? Didn't Draz win that? Yes. Okay, and Rattan didn't win their match either. So, this is actually a very, very important round here. You're definitely not going to place an intermediate going 1-2, right? Even going 2-1, you might get tied. I don't know what we're going to do about a tie. Maybe just play a tiebreaker. I mean, obviously what you're looking for here is a 3-0. But the only person on track for that 3-0 is Horus. And Horus has got Draz coming up in round 2 for them. And is that the game? Which game is? No, it's Nicolaccio versus Night Slayer. I think Horus needed a little bit of a break. I'm not sure if they're waiting on us to cast it or if they're just playing it. But Draz is definitely no slouch, you know. Team FXB's got Trumpet looking out for him. Tuesday trying to get into some tier 2 this game. Meanwhile, Rattan staying on Mass Lizards and looking to just eco up. And honestly, I like this for Rattan, you know. Taking these trades and all this tier 2 against Mass Lizards is really not what you're looking for most of the time. Unless it's like chameleons. You know, things like snakes and skunks are just not the most effective against lizards. So, skunks you can kind of get away with, right? Because they're pretty tanky. And yeah, the lizards move around through the gas, but I mean, the gas is still dealing a lot of damage to the lizard clump. But snakes are not what the doctor ordered in this situation. You know, snakes are really what you want against enemy tier 3. And it's been a while since Tuesday's had the opportunity to go scout Rattan. So I think Tuesday was caught a little bit off guard by just the mass pure lizard coming out of Rattan here. Which you know, if Rattan keeps this up, can definitely pilot this to just a straight up victory here. Now, if Tuesday gets left alone for like a minute, you know, that's all he needs. He's trying to get these owls. Once these owls come out in the 6 skunks, but I think Tuesday is just really being excessively greedy with the tech here. And if Rattan can identify that, Rattan's definitely got the opportunity to just come in and pounce. But if Rattan doesn't identify it, and that window is closing pretty quickly here, Tuesday can actually make it happen. But yeah, and this is what I was worried about. But look, I mean, all that gas, you know. We like to say skunks aren't good against lizards. I mean, a lot of skunks did die there, to be fair. But Tuesday held on, man. And this wild card, as Mochacheeto pointed out in chat, I mean, after losing all that to that first lizard push, and then the response is to double owl, you know, that's crazy. It's craziness here. It's very bold, very risky. But Tuesday is getting away with it. One owl's not super threatening. A couple skunks are left here. But once this second owl gets up, maybe they have a chance. You know, these lizards are not actually busting through. Now, Raton's got a hell of an economy. Keep that in mind. Tuesday's put together the superior army comp against all odds. But is 2 owls enough mice? I mean, Tuesday's got a lot of lizards too, so I think it is. Especially with the skunks here backing them up. Yeah, that's game, man. Tuesday made it happen. You know, took a very risky decision-making path after that big attack kind of really crippled him. But I mean, I can't believe the Mad Lad is maybe getting away with it. However, I might have spoken too soon, because one of the owls did fall, and when you're doing something like this, especially on low economy, you gotta keep those owls alive. And Raton just is just Zap Branniganing through. Like, just throwing more and more lives at the problem. And Raton has the superior economy here, and Tuesday really wants to get that mill down, but just can't quite muster enough force. Oh, maybe these mice. No, not quite. He's gonna have to go home and sell an owl warren, and probably sell the skunks too. But the problem is just the economic difference now. Man, I thought Tuesday would have had it from there, but really losing that owl took a lot of the wind out of the sails. And again, you know, you just can't underestimate a solid economy. I mean, Raton is living large over here. I mean, this economic difference is absolutely huge. And it doesn't matter if I've got the unit that counters you, or I've got the better comp, you know, if you've just got an immense economic lead. I think that's true in any RTS game. Let's see, Raton's coming in here again, but Tuesday is mustering up some forces and cleans this up. Man, this is such a crazy match. I think Tuesday might pull this off in the long run. Raton is not quite getting up to the critical mass of lizards here. I think that move out was a mistake. I certainly see why Raton tried it, but you know, Raton needs to kind of hang out for a second. Definitely make sure Tuesday can't get another base. You know, do stuff like this, like run around, look for engagements, look for Tuesday maybe to pull the lizards up a little bit too far forward compared to the other units, and take that engagement, just lizard versus lizard. But yeah, Raton needs to get this critical mass of lizards here, to where he's like, I don't care that you have the owl, I don't care that you got the skunks, I just have so many more units than you. Oh, and that is really bad for Raton there. Pulling out without committing. You know, heavy losses for free. That's exactly what Tuesday needed. And this is hard to call, but I think Tuesday wins from here. I think those last couple attempts from Raton were just a little bit too fumbled there. You know, Raton needed some good engagements, needed a situation where he could snipe that other owl. And slowly but surely, man, Tuesday's like, okay, you can't just run me over, so you gotta leave me alone for a second, and now I've got some breathing room to get these farms established again. And Raton really needs to find these angles to kind of nip at the heels of Tuesday. Try to fight, try to pick things off where Tuesday's army isn't. And Raton's got turrets too, though. I didn't think about that. You know, maybe if Raton like sets up a little bit of a turret wall in the center and tries to take the fights around that, just gonna come in here with these lizards again after those mice got depleted, and Raton's gonna all in on this gristmill and is gonna get it. Hamstringing the economy of Tuesday, but losing everything in the process. And now Tuesday has the opportunity to come in here for the counterattack. A couple turrets to stand. Tuesday is not aware of the gristmill to the east. Is going to find that angle in. Raton does not have enough lizards here. Has the same amount of lizards as Tuesday has. And Tuesday has the skunks and the owls as well. Oh my gosh. And this looks like a Tuesday victory. Very crazy match, man. I'm telling you, all the games tonight have just been absolutely bananas. Ratan desperately trying to hang on here. But it does not appear it is going to work. GG. Nicely done from Tuesday here. Taking that 2-0 series. I appreciate the tenacity from Ratan, definitely. So, my question is, for myself to look up. Okay. Sorry, I know my keyboard's super loud. Nice job there from Tuesday. Taking the 2-0. And it looks like they're ready. So we've got Horus versus Draz coming up next. So basically the results of that match means Tuesday is still in the running here. Ratan is 0-2, can still put up a point in round 3 for Funzy, but I don't think is going to qualify. Man, we've been seeing some weird matches tonight for sure. No. Ah! Okay, there we go. Give me a little mini heart attack here. All right, we've got FXB Draz. Put that FXB on there. Oh, I think they're waiting on me. There we go. All right. As I do some... Look at that horrible... I gotta get that other scoreboard, man. Satoris is showing me up, dude. His scoreboard looks way better than mine. Alright, Perfectamundo. Look at that. Good game. Daffy, aka Ratan. Man, some crazy matches tonight. Everybody's been playing some really interesting tooth and tail. Like, this, a lot of this is just like totally off the books, you know. Which is kind of what you would expect from beginning players, I suppose, but it's not in a bad way. Like, these are legitimate strategies and builds these players are coming up with, and it's very creative. Over here on the right side, we've got FXB Draz. Over on the left, Horus the Holy. Okay. So let me take a quick look at the standings. I think Draz and Horus, okay, this is a cool match, are both, they both won in round 1, right? So we are going to be in a position where there can't be 2 3-0s. Maybe if you math it all out, there couldn't be 2 3-0s anyways. Listen, that's probably the case. But regardless, one of these players is no longer going to be in the comfortable 2-0 position. And 2-0 is the spot to be, right? Because if you win here, even if you lose round 3, you might end up tying or competing in a tiebreaker or something like that to qualify into intermediate. You know, whereas if you lose here, it's like, okay, you're still in the running, but now you have to win round 3. So this is a very important victory in the set. Yeah, when you're behind, you need to take risks, as Mocha says in the chat. Very wise words. That is very true for any RTS game. All right, we've got 8 farm doubles from both sides. Draz going for that mill, and it makes sense, you know. Like, you might as well. If you're in a position where you're probably gonna lose, why not? Why not do something crazy? Why not sell everything you got, build double Fox over in the corner, and see what happens, man? Sometimes it works. What was gonna happen if you didn't do that? Then you're gonna lose anyways, right? Because you're behind. But risks can come in all shapes and sizes, you know. It could be tech, it could be army size, it could be economy, it could be tactics, right? Like trying to do something crazy, like fly your falcons over next to a ledge to try to poke in. It's like, well, I might lose those falcons, but I might kill a couple pigs for free. Alright, so we have a proper macro game on our hands. So far, I like this opening build a little bit better for Draz, but Horus is totally fine as well. Getting into some Toads, and again, we are on the PTR here, where we've got a little bit of Toad love. They are faster. I don't think... I gotta review the patch notes. But I don't think anything else changed with the Toads. I want to see, actually, before I spread misinformation. I think it was just the speed up, but that's actually a huge change. Yeah, it was just the speed up for the Toad. Okay. I was making sure it wasn't like anything with the HP. But that's an enormous change. I mean, look at these Toads, man. They're zoomers. And for a unit who's a kamikaze unit, right? Like a unit who's trying to connect in, blow up the opponent. I mean, speed is everything. The fast Toads could make the difference between, you know, two or three of your 6 Toads connecting. Now all of a sudden 4 or 5 of your 6 Toads are connecting. And Horus looks like he's posturing for some aggression here. Good scouting for both sides. Both players are kind of looking, all right, how many farms you have. Let me make sure I've got about the same amount. Let me check around for anything like tier 3. Did you sell off any tier 1 for some, you know, a big tier 2 explosion? But here comes Horus. He's moving in. Draz is not quite in the right position. Going to start moving in forward now. Horus keeping his Toads in the back and just slams them into that entire army. Was it cost effective? I'm not sure, but it was really cool to watch. I love Toads. And big Toad explosions. The Chad Toads, as I call them. They are awesome. My favorite thing. You want to make me happy with the replay submission? Submit a game where you take out gristmills with Toads. Like that's what I want to see. That's the kind of content we're looking for on the feast. Alright, good scout here from Horus. Sees that Draz is trying to get into the wolf. Meanwhile, Draz hasn't scouted in a little while, going to come in. But this phase of the game, it actually gets difficult to scout. It's no longer really straightforward. You kind of got to find a way to sneak in, you know, like scout like that or something. Because otherwise the enemy army will just kill your commander. Alright, let's see. Toadsma goes. Horus trying to look on him, but not getting... Kind of getting some awkward pathing with the Toads. Finally getting the connections you were looking for, but Draz's skunks just annihilate everything. I think that was a little bit of a mishandling there from Horus, and good abuse of this terrain from Draz. You know, positioning his skunks like over here on the other side of that double high ground. Kind of confused the AI of Horus's units a little bit. You know, some were trying to split off this way, some were trying to go around that way. Horus was trying to correct, like, no, Toads, come in this way to hit those skunks. But by that time, you know, all the skunk gas had already basically deleted the army for Horus there. And now all of a sudden, Draz is in a game-winning position. He's got the wolf out. He's working on the owls. But Horus is trying to batten down the hatches here. Is aware that the tier 3 is out and about. And is trying to get into some hefty numbers of tier 2 here. Going for 6 falcons to try to deal with this. And the double skunk. Now, did Horus scout the owl as well? Okay, yes, that makes sense. Yeah, once you have that double skunk up, you can kind of negate the mice pretty effectively. Until the owls just continue to grow in numbers. Hey man, that's what happens when you got a team, when you're playing with people. You know, Tooth and Tail is not a very mechanically demanding game, so you know, in Draz's position, when you got a guy like Trumpet, you know, helping you out, Trumpet is definitely one of the top Tooth and Tail players at the moment. You know, definitely in like the top 8 or something at the very least, and you got a guy like that who's helping you out, and you know, maybe playing some skirmish games with you, maybe giving you the rundown on the meta. I mean, it can make a big difference. I mean, now there is part of it that is just experience, right? That you can't really get past. You know, nobody can practice those guitar scales for you. You know what I mean? You gotta get that muscle memory in on your own. So there are little things like timing windows and when to build what that takes experience, like some of that deeper nuance. But this is a solid comp that Draz got put together. And let's see what Horus can do about it. You know, he's got the 6 Falcons in the air, got these ferrets to kind of poke and prod in between the direct engagements, and so far these ferrets or these Falcons rather are doing a pretty good job of starting to wean down this tier 2 town of the opponent. Now Horus needs to be careful. A lot of his tier 2 is getting low. I honestly wouldn't hate to see a retreat just for the sake of keeping these units alive and healing them up, maybe putting them in some water real quick. And yeah, Horus like overstayed his welcome. I feel like just by like 5 or 10 seconds, like not by a very long time. You know, that initial engagement wasn't terrible, but left Horus with a lot of damage tier 2. And now Draz is just busting through, kind of smelled the blood in the water, and that is going to be match number 1 here for Draz. Horus desperately trying to get out whatever they can, but Draz has simply done too much damage at this point. Nice bringing that owl back at just a little bit of HP there. the trumpet gang is here. Alright. Yeah, and Horus trying to make something happen, you know, rallying what he can, maybe thinking about a way to get to that back door. But Draz is just gonna stomp on through and take the match. Alright, but Horus can definitely still do this. You know, maybe Horus has got a little bit of the download. Now, kind of understands how Draz wants to play it. Now, does Draz change it up is the question. And again, that really comes down to personal preference. I feel like there's merit in both methodologies when it comes to either keeping with the same deck you've practiced a lot or having a few in the bank. But up top, fresh off victory, you've got Draz rocking that same composition. And in the bottom, Horus the Holy with a very poke-centric comp coming out from him in the deck selection. I love it, man. I love... There's a place in my heart for this kind of thing that Horus is trying to do. Which is hilarious, because it's like when it's working, it's just one of the most annoying things to play against. But, you know, it's a meme. Well, maybe saying it's a meme is too strong. It's one-dimensional, in a way, right? Where when you have a composition like what Draz is running, you know, you can kind of... I mean, the problem... No deck is perfect. You know, keep that in mind, too. There are certain players who search for the holy grail, as I call it, of deck composition that can do good in all situations. And there are some things that are pretty close. You know, but every deck has its ups and downs. And I think Draz's deck has a very powerful late game, but does waver a little bit in the early game, right? Like Squirrel Skunk, you know, for example, just Mass Lizard, right? I feel like Mass Lizard would give Draz's deck a pretty hard time. And Horus does have that capability, but Horus is really relying on creating a strong defensive position with the turrets, with the balloons, to be able to poke in with the ferrets, you know, eventually get to the fox, and it's kind of got the lizard boar in there as just the anchors for the composition, right? Like, you can just build nothing but lizards. I mean, that's totally viable. There's some ways that it can get hard countered, you know, like things like toads and barbed wire and chameleons and the like, but it is definitely a composition all on its own. And the boar is a good icing on that cake. And Horus looks to really want to be aggressive this round. Kind of interesting, as I say that, runs back and throws down a turret at home. But I think what Horus needs to do is either look for these fights where, yeah, he's found some squirrels out in the open. I think he actually could have stayed a little bit longer there. Draz is again trying to get up to this double skunk comp. But I think maybe what Horos could have shot for here in the early game was to try to take like this mill and start setting up some turrets, because Draz actually is kind of feigning some strength right now as he's building up these skunks. Like, Draz was very, very exposed, sitting on just a few tier 1 Warrens as he was trying to get up to the tier 2, but now that risk has gotten to the reward side of it, where these 4 skunks are out and about, and again, you know, you just got to think about the skunks in this position against the lizards as a large HP pool. You know, like, yeah, the gas is awesome and it helps. Well, I guess once you get up to like 4 skunks too, I mean, you're putting so much gas down everywhere. I guess maybe the argument that the lizards are so fast, they're not in the gas for very long, is a little bit null and void. But Horos here actually, with the tier 3, going to try to go for what looks to be mainly like a 1 base all in, trying to get up to Boar and Fox at the same time. Good run around here from Horos. Right when Draz started moving out, comes in with these lizards, trying to get as much damage done as possible. Unfortunately, is going to lose all these lizards here. Doesn't quite have the raw numbers to contest this up and running, or directly. But you know what? This comp that Horos is putting together, this Boar Fox, Horos is kind of like taking a playbook from play out of Draz's book here, right? Like getting up to this tier 3. And might be putting together a stronger composition. Draz does have some snakes going on, though. Hasn't quite seen the tier 3. So it's kind of like, why do you want snakes right now? But at the same time, I mean, it's pretty easy to deduce that the tier 3 is on the way, right? Like, you see, all right, they're on 1 base. They're turtled up behind a bunch of turrets. Like, what else would they be doing than trying to get out that tier 3? And the snake could do pretty nicely against the boar. Still going to take some focus fire, some decent micro from Draz to pull that off, and not just let the snakes attack like the tier 1. But the fox can do nice against the snakes, and this balloon here is doing pretty decent for the boar. So Draz already was kind of prepared for this boar fox thing, again, after seeing all the turrets from Horos, but can Horos just bust through here? This boar is getting poisoned, but is still tanking on the front. Really needs to knock out the snakes, though. Oh, did his commander go down? Oh, the commander went down. Yeah, that always happens, man. Oh, picks off that skunk. And if Horos can just keep this snake count down, maybe Horos has a decent shot here. Gonna try to come in, realizes behind on the economy. Ooh, 1 stack is not gonna be enough to kill the fox. Horos, so needs to pay attention to this macro here. Needs to sell off that boar warren. No, actually he's going to sell some of the other warrens for the boar. Needs to consider investing into some farms, and has got to really get the money out of this fox here. Needs to just constantly be poking. It is really difficult when you're having to poke uphill against snakes, though, like this. Like, your commander can just die so easily. And there it is, commander death. But before that happened, Horos was able to get the commander, or get the fox back safely at home. Didn't quite pick off a snake, though. And now all these snakes coming out from Draz, I think what Horos really needs is more lizards here. You know, this second boar is not exactly what the doctor ordered. You know, these snakes are going to do great against the boar. So, honestly, I feel like if Horos would have sold the boar, built lizards, could maybe be in a game-winning position. But right now, Draz has exactly what he needs to deal with this. And if Horos tries to go get that bacon, you know, these snakes are just going to kill this fox. I mean, that is a dead fox. And that high ground, like, Draz is really playing smart here. Keeping his units up on that high ground, realizing this fox has no vision. And realizing it's difficult to get the commander up there to see. But, oh man, Horos really can't let these balloons go up. This is starting to look better and better for Draz. You know, Draz is showing us some really good decision making as far as what units to keep, what units to sell. All right, my opponents have these units. I need those, right? Got up that extra economy pretty quickly. Gonna move out here. And Horus still can't quite get any kills on these tier 2s. You know, all these fox shots are really just not doing anything. These snakes regenerate pretty quickly in their own territory. This high ground here, like, Draz is doing such a good job of keeping everything up there. Yeah, and even just trying to run up there with the snakes, with the balloons, I mean, Horus just dies immediately. So Horus kind of needs to go back to the drawing board as far as what composition is going to work. Now, Horus still has plenty of economic options here, can keep expanding. This game isn't over yet, but the problem is that the longer Horus waits, the closer that Draz is going to get to this owl composition. And, you know, this fox has just really not gotten any value from this nice defensive posturing that Draz has been doing. Now, this could be a crazy epic long game. If Horus can, you know, maybe like sell off the board, get a bunch more lizards, get a third base, and build a wall of turrets. You know, Horus has turret balloon, and there is a critical mass of turrets where, you know, you can kill all the mice and not lose anything. But, you know, that would, I mean, Horus would have to be doing, like, all those things right now. Horus can't get in there and see what Draz is really up to. And this is just starting to look better and better for Draz. You know, I think Horus, as much as I hate to keep harking on, like, a similar point, I think Horus just made the wrong call when he was faced with the decision to either build another boar or build a bunch of lizards. I think the right answer there was build the lizards, right? Because at that point, all Draz really had was like a couple squirrels and the snakes. And lizards will just mow over snakes, no problem. But these snakes are exactly what Draz needs to combat the boar fox, right? And it's just buying him time, and now he's getting up to these owls. And Horus can kind of build a bunch of defense and actually split this map pretty favorably. But we need to see some real reworks happening very, very fast from Horus. You know, needs to sell off like all the lizards, build the turrets, gotta have the balloons too, to keep the snakes back from just poisoning down the turrets. Maybe start building into some ferrets. Just to have some poke. Maybe like a second boar. Yeah, I think you get rid of the lizards, you eco up super hard, you build a bunch of... Well, do you even really need a bunch of turrets if you have the boar? Maybe you get the second boar instead, and some balloons. I actually don't hate keeping the fox, because after the mice get spent, you know, maybe the fox can get in there and poke down some tier 2s and stuff. But the time for lizards is over. Like, there was that point where Horus could have gone that way. But these lizards are just going to trade very, very terribly with the owl, and will eventually allow Draz to get more and more value. One thing Draz should be doing a little bit more is spending these mice. You know, once you get up to max mice, just go ahead, throw them in there. You know, every little thing really counts. I mean, maybe Draz is hesitant to do that out of fear of a counterattack. You know, when I don't have the mice anymore, I'm left open a little bit. But honestly, I think Draz is pretty solid, you know, with so many snakes and with the skunk here. Yeah, I think what you got to do here in Horus's position is get rid of the lizards, get like another boar, get a bunch of balloons. Like, I think 2 boars is just basically enough to deal with mice, right? Because even if you get a whole bunch of mice, I think the DPS of 2 boars would just kill them all before they can really connect. And then you gotta use the ferrets to like try to look around for some value. But these balloons are a big problem for Horus, because these balloons just shut down the ferrets and the fox, which is really the avenue for Horus to get his own indirect damage in, right? Get the damage in that is quote unquote free. Doesn't cost him anything. Yeah, actually these lizards surviving pretty well, but still, I mean, like in that swell of mice, you know, 2 lizards died. But hey man, that's 40 food. And that adds up after a while. But now Horus is actually starting to get there, man. I don't know, 7 balloons is a lot. And Draz does not have a starvation farm. Well, he does. I guess he's got this one. But this can definitely go to starvation. This is becoming a very long game here. And there's not really an end in sight. You know, neither player... We're in a bit of a stalemate Cold War situation, where neither player can really effectively go in and attack the other. And now that Horus did weasel out a good economy here, yeah, there's boar number 2, continuing to bring up the economy here. And Draz is being pretty smart with these snakes, just looking, trying to find any spot. You know, maybe if I go this angle, I can get some shots in on that balloon without losing a snake. He did it successfully the first time. Second time he goes in there and got blapped down by several balloons. Welcome to balloon hell. I know, man. This is what can happen sometimes. And now Draz is in a little bit of a weird situation, where he's the one who's got to figure out a way to end this game. Where, really, when you look at these decks, you kind of feel like it's the other way around. I mean, maybe these balloons are a little bit too spread out, and Draz can come in from like a perpendicular angle. Well, I guess parallel in this position. Perpendicular would be coming straight in. So yeah, like maybe you try to come in and attack like that, so you're only dealing with a couple balloons at once. But Draz is actually selling off his own balloons here. I think Draz is like desperately trying to figure out what is the right move. You know, what do I spend the rest of my money on? And decides on the snakes. Now, keeping all these lizards from Horus actually might end up being really smart, as much as I've been kind of dogging on him for it. Because imagine this scenario where, alright, the boars kind of lead, right? And deals with the mice. And then now you've got all these snakes. Well, you've got like 30 lizards to deal with the snakes. I think as long as Horus is very careful about how he engages and doesn't let the lizards collide with the mice. Yeah, you can see he's trying to pull the lizards back. Let the boar deal with these mice for free. And this is what I meant by the double boar, right? Like, now it doesn't really matter how much mice you have, because these boar can just mow them down. The trick is not losing the auxiliary units in the process, not losing the lizards. You got to keep the lizards back. Really, I think Horus should keep his whole army back here and just be microing the boars up front. But maybe he's keeping them a bit together so these snakes can't get a little too fresh. And maybe, oh, Draz started stepping up, maybe thinking about going for it. Draz is now starving, does have that starvation farm over to the side. It's not going to last the quite full 5 minutes, but will last a decent amount of time. And Horus is going to engage in. All these lizards are dropping down. 13 stacks of poison. All the board, one of the boards goes down. The other one might live. Still got the fox left, but just so many snakes here. That boar is going to go down. Horus realizes it and tries to get that explosion. The Draz is slowly starting to deplete the balloons. And oh my god, he's got to sell something. Okay, so prevents the starvation. But he's got no economy, but more importantly, he's got no avenue to rebuild the economy. However, Horus is slowly deteriorating here and can't quite deal with these constant waves of mice. Like, he doesn't have the double boar anymore, and he realizes he needs to build another one. I think he needs to sell off the third boar warren. Probably sell the fox, too. Yeah, really can't let these lizards engage with the mice. That's the problem. And Draz is going to come in and get some of the damage done. But Horus needs to find a way to build some more farms, right? Like, I think that's maybe how he wins, but it looks like Draz, with his guerrilla force here, his leftover commander, it's hard to call that a leftover army, I guess. But he's got no more income, you know? But this comp is just so cost-effective. This wolf, snake, owl. And it's slowly draining Horus down. The big archon of Horus' army here is definitely this boar. Keeping Horus in the game. But yeah, the fox goes down, and I think this is slowly going to become a victory for Draz here. Putting Draz comfortably in round 3 of the event with a 2-0 lead. What a hell of a match. It was fun theory crafting, and I think Horus played really well. Both sides played really well. It's always easy to be the armchair quarterback, you know, where we're looking at the game from outside of it, and we're like, oh yeah, you can do this, this, and that. But, you know, it can be a lot easier said than done. But really, really well fought there from Horus, and a nice, impressive victory for Draz, winning round 2, 2-0. Alright, so now who do we have next? Let me look at round 3. Is it updated? Alright, so that's a 2-0. Alright, here we go. Who do we want to watch? Let's do... Alright. We've got the FXB people here. So let's keep watching your hometown hero, I suppose. And Night Slayer is actually... No, it is Night Slayer. We will see if Draz can go 3-0 as I update my scoreboard. So Draz versus Night Slayer coming up next. Okay, that was a really cool match. We've seen a lot of really great games tonight. This owl snake composition proving to be very formidable in the late game. However, I think there was something to that boar lizard style, man. Like that almost worked, you know. If the boar, you keep the couple boars, even the balloons helped a lot. Like boar, lizard, balloon. Maybe you can deal with it. It's like the snakes are the big problem, right? That's what you really got to figure out. Like, you got to deal with the mice. Okay, we can use the boar to deal with the mice, but the snake beats the boar. So how do you deal with the snake? I think it might be just having that massive lizards. You know, you got to tuck them back. You don't want to lose the lizards to the mice, but after the flamethrowers get rid of the mice, you bring in the lizards. Maybe that's the way to do it. Okay. Alright, it looks like Night Slayer's on his way. Should have him momentarily here. And yeah. It's been a fun night, man. Lots of casting. It's going a little bit long. That's all right. I'm in the zone. I've got the energy. I'm ready. And there we go. We got Night Slayer 907. Very close to 904. Hashtag Duval. Okay. Oh, they're probably waiting on me. My bad. Okay. Just waiting on Night Slayer to ready up. So this is round 3. And both these players are 2-0 right now. So this, I mean, whoever wins this is 100% going to be in intermediate. Right? Because there's only going to be one person who finishes 3-0. But can we get into some 2-0s? Yeah, we might have some ties going on, right? Okay, over on the left-hand side, we got FXB Draz. Over on the bottom right, Night Slayer, 907. And let's see what Night Slayer is bringing to the table. I haven't got to see Night Slayer play yet. I've actually never seen Night Slayer play, which is rare for me to say because of my replay casting. I've normally got my nose on the competitive scene, either casting or hosting. But again, these are newer players coming in, which is really exciting to see, man. You know, I know we're a small game, and we've been around for over 3 years now. You know what? But we're stable. We got a 6-farm Warren from Night Slayer, by the way. Draz about to scout it. Draz can... Ooh, actually doesn't get the full scout, though. Just finds the opponent's location and goes home. So maybe... Oh, but Draz... Or Night Slayer sells it anyways. It's kind of rough to say. Like, if it was 6-farm Lizard, maybe I would have been more hyped for it. But the problem is, you know, it's a bit of a wonky map. You got to go through this water. Rush distances are pretty reasonable. You know, even if Draz went for an 8-farm opening, you know, by the time Night Slayer got over there with a couple squirrels, he might have been fine. Either way, I think it's safer. You know, in general, doing like... How do I put it? So, it's real easy to, like, try to rush, you know, especially as a beginning player. Because that's a way to get, like, some cheesy victories and stuff. And, oh, yeah, I'll do a 5-farm double. But the problem is, it's very high risk in, like, medium reward. I wouldn't go as far as to say, like, low reward. But, you know, something like a 5-farm double or any pre-8-farm Warrens, you really got to get some serious damage in. Otherwise, your opponent is going to be at an advantage just from the fact that they got their farms up faster. You know what I mean? And that kind of thing is better to do at higher levels of play. Especially when you get some mind games involved. Or like in a series, like I'll whip out a 5-farm double every now and then on the ladder. Or against like a high-level opponent. And... you know, most of the time it's just a dance. Like, I go 5-farm double, they scout it, they go 6-farm double, I scout, they win 6-farm double, I sell down to a 7-farm single, you know, etc., etc. And we're both just kind of, like, trying to one-up the other one and eke out a farm. Or oh, you didn't scout this time around, and you didn't see that I went for it. A lot of times, how people get that to work is you'll like feign that you're going 8 farms, and then you hope that they don't do another follow-up scout, right? Like maybe they went to just scout the map or something, didn't see you sell. Anyways, I'm rambling on about pre-8 farm aggression while there's actually things to comment on in this game. We've got a macro game on our hands, and honestly, the level of play we're seeing here looks pretty sharp to me. You know, these are guys that are both going in, they're both scouting what their opponent's up to. They're both trying to match it and stay ahead. You know, they're trying to get into the tier 2. They're not overbuilding the tier 1. Lots of scouting for both sides. But again, I really feel like Draz's deck here, as much as the FXB people will not like me saying this. Draz is almost like the antagonist, right, of the anime right now. And his opponents are the protagonists. And the reason is because if you just leave Draz alone, I mean, his late game is going to be very, very hard to dismantle. It's kind of up to Night Slayer to get in there and deal with Draz before you allow Draz to get up to this, like, wolf, owl, snake. Because that is a hell of a composition. Anti-FXB rhetoric. No, man. He's One Punch Man. But let's see it. You know, maybe... I don't know. I actually don't mind Night Slayer's comp here. As we saw, the boars, you get double boar, you can basically deal with the mice. But the problem is dealing with the snake. Maybe just having your own snakes. We're getting into 3 bases now. And you know, we're kind of in a gentleman's agreement here. These are kind of interesting matches to see, because we're gonna get up to these death ball armies, right? Like, both players on straight up 20 farms right now at the 5-minute mark, right? And not for no reason either. You know, they have been scouting constantly, seeing that both sides want to play greed. Neither one wanted to, you know, put the pedal to the metal and trigger a timing attack or try to do anything wonky. They're like, all right, man, I trust in my comp. I'm going to get there in the late game. But ultimately, Draz does have this 4th base. And Night Slayer does not have a 4th base on this map. Night Slayer gets a couple consolation campfires, you know, but that's definitely not the same thing as having a mill. And Draz is trying to get this defended here. He's got some balloons up on the way. Here's that big owl surge. But Night Slayer's got units right here, right now. If Night Slayer just waits another minute or so for a few more falcons, let's see if this wolf, skunk, snake army can make it happen here. Big engagement coming in. Draz starting to turn around. Maybe not super confident in this fight, and retreating in tooth and tail is very, very bad most of the time. I mean, sometimes you got to do it. Like, you know, losing a couple units on the retreat is definitely better than losing your entire army. But let's see, man. Let's see if Night Slayer's cracked the code and can deal with this comp. He's going to come in now. And again, Draz is so supply blocked, cannot get out the other Owl Warrens. Is sitting on, you know, 540 food and Warrens that are not doing anything. Just lost a whole bunch more food on those balloons, and Night Slayer is slamming through. The Slayer of the Knights. It is nighttime. He is slaying. Loses the commander, but got enough damage done. Draz taps out. And match number 1 going to Night Slayer. And I think Night Slayer played awesome. That was a really smart time to try to attack. Like, right when Draz was trying to get out, try to get established on that 4th base. But at the same time, Draz did make some mistakes there. You know, those owls were supply blocked for a very long time. And, you know, that kind of thing can lead to a loss. So I think it was a mix of both, to be honest. I think Night Slayer hit a sharp timing. You know, when Draz was starting to try to spread his tendrils to that 4th base, get those balloons set up, but at the same time, you know, Draz did not manage the economy 100% correctly going into the ultra late game there, and it had a lot of blocked tier 3. All right, over on the right hand side, competing for a 3-0 victory, we've got Draz, and on the bottom left, up 1 match in the series already. Also looking for that perfect score, we've got Night Slayer. Draz changing it up this time. All right. I wonder if I've only seen that 1 deck out of him because he's a if it ain't broke, don't fix it player. You know, which is very tempting to do that kind of thing. Like, hey, if I'm playing this style and I'm playing this deck and I'm winning, why do anything differently? But now Draz has taken a loss here in this series and has changed up the deck, still committing to the Wolf, but that's about it, you know. Artillery Ferret, really cool style. Not something we see very often. Meanwhile, Nightslayer is just got this bread and butter deck, you know? I mean, it just standard, just tried and true. I love it. I think he's got too many tier 2. Like, I would take something like what Nightslayer has here and maybe sub out one of those tier 2s for, like, Lizards and tell a new player, like, play this deck. Like, this is a good deck to learn the game with. Dude. Oh my god, the chat is cracking me up. Alright, Lizard Toad coming out of Draz so far. Moving across the map, gonna see if try to get anything done here. Nice sell from Nightslayer. Man, both these players are really playing very strong for beginners, I gotta say. A little bit too big for his britches there, though, is Draz. And that attack gets a little bit botched, and this is what's so risky about aggressive strategies. You know, if you mess it up, I mean, Nightslayer is actually ecoing right now, but Nightslayer could have just won the game. Most likely. Most likely. If he would have just drilled down some tier 1 and pushed across the map, you just win right there, I think. I think Draz lost enough. Especially if Nightslayer had moles. But this is what I'm kind of talking about, where it's really fascinating seeing these players. I mean, they're playing great for beginners, but it's like little things like that you've just got to learn with experience. There's Draz! Oh my god! Draz with the 10 toads, man. Okay, I'm in love with Draz now. I said in a Tooth and Tail replay to give me the toads. Now he's just trolling, man. Is this a, this might be like the protect your ego kind of troll, you know? You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, I only lost because I started screwing around building toads. Because honestly, Nightslayer, before the big toad, the Chad toads coming out of Draz, Nightslayer wasn't a really good spot. I think there was a window to win the game right there, but again, that's something you kind of need to be an experienced player to understand. And, but Draz could have definitely come back. Like, it wasn't checkmate. Oh, man. I love it, though, dude. I'm down. I'm down with the Chad Toads. Alright, are we done? As soon as I say I'm down with it, man, Draz is like, I'm just kidding, lol. Yeah, he's just screwing around now, so... Nightslayer is gonna take it. 3-0, you guys. Congratulations to Nightslayer. However, Draz is still gonna, I guess, tie for second place with the 2-1, right? I'm not sure how we're dealing with that. A little bit of an anticlimactic finish here. But you know what? We got some really good games earlier on. Oh no. Oh no, you guys. Come on, don't do this to me. We've got other matches to play. Do we have other matches to play? What is Satoris doing? Now there's some mutual trolling going on. Okay, Nicolaccio and Rattan are playing right now. Okay, now Nightslayer's gonna end it. I was like, dude, if Nightslayer starts trolling, I'm screwed. Okay, so I think we've got one more. We should have one more. Darius and Nicolaccio are playing. Oh, wait. Oh no, Rattan and Nicolaccio. So yeah, Horus and Tuesday. So congratulations to Nightslayer for advancing. with the 3-0. Give Toad's Road. The Toad Road. Alright. So we got Tuesday here. Is Horace around? Alright, Horace is coming. Alright. So this is it for the evening, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to have Horace the Holy here. First Tuesday. And they're being great players and waiting on me. And this is for a 2-1 victory. Which again, I think there's going to be multiple people that end up 2-1. I don't know if Mocha... I know Mocha's in this time zone. I always think he's European for some reason. Not European. And guys, don't forget to check out Satoros for more coverage of this event. If you have, you know, if you're just hungry for more Tooth to Tail content, of course, I have a million VODs on my channel. But Satoros is also streaming all these games, and I think we actually did like every game live. We went a little bit longer than we wanted to. Mocha's from Switzerland? I thought Mocha was from Brazil. No, is Airlu from Brazil? No, Airlu's American. Man, I don't know anything. At the bottom, we've got Tuesday. Up to the top right, we've got Horace the Holy. Alright. Yeah, so Mocha is European. No, I'm confused. Wait. Who's from Brazil? Is it Airlu? Dude, I hate you guys. It's so weird. Like, the Tooth and Tail community is small, right? But we're stable. Like, it's fine. It's okay that we're small. Like, not everything's gonna be the biggest thing in the world, you know? It doesn't mean some of the best bands that I like, nobody's ever heard of, you know what I mean? It's a quality game. It's a quality scene. And it's fine. But we're so spread out, man. Like, we got players from all over the place. Thought Mocha was from Russia. Oh my god. I thought Mocha was Brazilian. I know he's not American. But maybe it's Airlu that's Brazilian. I could be wrong. I know it's either one of those. I have brackets. You can check out the brackets there. If you're interested to see... God damn it, Kerpa. And then also, guys, this tournament is we're still looking for signups for the preseason cup. You can check out Mochaccino's TnT Championship Discord and sign up there. What we got going on this game? 8 farm openings from both sides. Lots of tier 1 coming down from Horace. Tuesday needs to come in and scout this. Tuesday has committed to a second base, but hasn't put any additional farms on it just yet. And this is the right thing to do. When you see that, I don't mind one farm. I know actually like players better than I am say no, just don't build any farms when your opponent's rushing tier 1, but I like to live on the edge, man. I like to build like 1 or 2. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? But this is a lot of greed from Tuesday, and I think that's kind of been the pattern for Tuesday we've seen tonight. Tuesday's a very greedy player, and it's actually a really cool way to start off. Like, you're gonna get punted. What's nice about greedy play is you're gonna lose a lot of games, right? But that's a good thing, because you start understanding where the boundaries are, and you start seeing what you can get away with and what you can't get away with, right? And being a greedy player is the first step to becoming a very solid macro player, right? Where you know things like, okay, if I go 8 farm double into a gristmill, a little bit of lizard harassment coming out from Horace here. If I go 8 farm double into a mill and my opponent's just railing out tier 1, I can get away with like 1 farm, right? But I can't get away with like 3 or 4. Now Horace, though, however, did not attack, right? So sometimes you can get weird information. Because Horus actually could have attacked in earlier and maybe done crippling damage. But again, you know, figuring out all these timing windows takes experience. Here comes an attack in now, and Horus is still going to get something done. Loses a commander. But if this attack came like a minute earlier, it could have been devastating for the amount of greed that Tuesday was going for. You guys are all trolling me. I don't believe any of you about your locations anywhere. You know, I will tell you the truth. I'm a Florida man. I'm sitting here in Florida, y'all. You always just blame. Anytime you want to make fun of me, just bring up I'm from Florida. You know, Florida gets crapped on all the time. I don't care. You know, I've accepted it. I don't have any large allegiance to Florida. But it's not as crazy as people think. It's not all meth and gators and old people. It's only like 90% that. You know, I feel like Horus had an okay attack earlier. Got some damage in. But Tuesday ultimately is falling behind on economy now that Horus blasted up to full double base saturation. Oh, the oranges are incredible. You know what? You know what I heard from my friend Abby, and I didn't realize this. Like, orange juice is not commonplace elsewhere. I find that hard to believe, but she was telling me like you couldn't find orange juice like as prolifically at gas stations and grocery stores and stuff. All right, I'll tell you guys a secret, right? I didn't realize this wasn't a thing. Boiled peanuts. Okay, I'm telling you, man. It's like a southern. It's not even a southern thing. It's like a North Florida. I'm in North Florida. It's like a North Florida, South Georgia thing, right? Like, boiled peanuts are so good, and they're good for you. It's like a healthy snack. So much tier 1 coming out of Horus. Moving in again Tuesday, trying to be greedy, trying to get into that tier 3, trying to hold on with a lot of skunks here, and maybe these skunks are gonna make it work. Like, Horus just has a bunch of tier 1, but Horus does have the nice eco lead at the moment. However, Horus really doesn't have any answer for this Badger once it comes out. Does have some lizards which can kind of chase it, and I think that's why we see Horus getting so antsy. Like, Horus knows about the Badger. But yeah, I don't know. Like, Abby, my friend Abby told me, like, you can't find orange juice in other places, or the orange juice they have sucks. I can understand that part, right? Like, we got fresh Florida oranges. That engagement did not go very well for Horus at all. A lot of the toads, unfortunately, connecting with the mill there. And now Tuesday's in a good spot. I mean, keep in mind, Horus has had an economic advantage for a long time. But I just don't think Horus has the army composition to deal with this unless he can just blap down this Badger, like, immediately, but it's not going to happen. And it looks like Tuesday might just pilot this Badger to victory, trying to be careful, going to put the units in water. Look at this. Look at this. Tuesday's a new player. Okay? And Tuesday is putting the units in the gosh darn water. You see this? We need to take notes here. I'm just messing around. I'm getting a little derpy, you guys. It's getting late. But, you know, I get so frustrated. Like, I see so many good players not use the water as much as they should. But yeah, boiled peanuts, man. Try boiled peanuts, I'm telling you. It's like everywhere in Georgia and Florida. Like, you go to a gas station, there's, you know, you just get some boiled peanuts. But, I mean, make them yourself. You got a crock pot, go to the store, buy some peanuts. Throw them in there, boil them, add some seasoning, add some Cajun in there. I'm telling you, man, it's delicious. That fight actually didn't go Super horrible for Horus, but again, I don't think well, as I say that, 8 HP. Oh my god, the Badger went down. The Badger went down. This is still winnable for Horus here. Horus needs to sell off a couple Warrens. Oh my gosh. Tuesday losing everything. He's got a couple skunks. Needs to retreat with them. And that Badger Warren got picked off earlier, so Tuesday can't even get the 180 bucks back. Dude, Horus actually killed the Badger, you guys. This is hype now. Epicasi saying boiled peanuts are not great. How dare you, sir? You know, everything's not for everybody. I respect your opinion. But I just am saying that people should try it. Ooh, 1 HP on that skunk! And it goes down. I don't think water healing works in combat. I don't think you can heal in combat, but it does stack with territory healing. Tickle Bandit coming in. Coming in, boiled peanuts for the win. Pick a side, chat. You for or against boiled peanuts? You know, now I just really want boiled peanuts. I think that's why I keep talking about them. Alright. Horus trying to get something done with the lizard run by here. Kind of realizing that Tuesday has mustered back up an army. That Horus cannot directly engage. Doesn't quite have the number of lizards here to just snipe these mills. Oh yeah, canned boiled peanuts? Oh my gosh. Yeah, no, don't do that. That's an insult, man. Canned boiled peanuts. Yeah, that does sound bad. You gotta have them. Gotta have them fresh and hot. Oh, dude, the games today have been insane. Tuesday ends up taking it. It looked like Horus was about to come back after that Badger fell. But Tuesday, with the tenacity, able to pocket that win. So Satoros is finished up. Thank you for streaming. That looked like it was a lot of fun, man. Satoros and Meek. If you guys did not catch that, definitely check out the VOD. I'd love to see, you know, lately, man, the scene has been phenomenal. So what ended up happening? So Nicolaccio won that. So that actually puts Nicolaccio 1-2. Okay. Night Slayer finished up 3-0. So Night Slayer for sure. Draz finished up 2-1. Right. So we got 3-0 Night Slayer. Nicolaccio and Rattan are outs. So you got Draz, who can be 2-1, who is 2-1. Horus has to win this to be 2-1. Okay. And Tuesday has to win this to be 2-1. So we're gonna finish up with Night Slayer 3-0. Draz 2-1, and then whoever wins this is going to be 2-1. So over the bottom right-hand corner, we've got Tuesday, and up top, Horus the Holy. We do see some Fox this time around with the boar, and this looks to be very similar to that QQ deck that we saw in the replay against Mr. Ziggy earlier. Except for Horus going for the turret rather than the barbed wire, I should say. And I'm curious how much we haven't really seen moles tonight, which kind of makes sense. Moles are really timing oriented unit. So I can kind of understand why beginners would want to stay away from them. Although these players, I mean, they're not playing bad. You know, all these players tonight have been really showing some good games. But moles can be really utilized in the modern meta to take a timing window that was like barely cracked, you know, and really open it up, right? And I guess where I'm going with that is turrets and barbed wire are kind of as relevant as moles or not, because the moles just stomp on the barbed wire, they can stomp on the turrets, but you know, when moles aren't in the meta and lizards are, now all of a sudden barbed wire is really good, turrets can be really good. You do have some pretty 8 farm stuff going on here I totally missed. But so far, not a whole lot. It looks like both players kind of scouted that their enemy was going for this and responded accordingly. One thing that is important to note, though, is that Tuesday has not taken that 8th farm yet. And really needs to be honest. You know, 7 to 8 farms is actually a really big difference. Dude, thank you, Satoros, for coming in and streaming. I'll definitely check out the VOD tomorrow. And Meek was casting too, man. I'd love to see, especially lately, like the past couple months. I mean, we've had so many more streamers, and I just think that is the best thing. The best thing in the world. The number one thing we can do for the community, if you really like this game, the number one thing you can do outside of just playing it is events, is content, you know, that sort of thing. And you know, there's no gatekeeping. You know, if you want to do something, man, just do it. Like, if you want to do a tournament, like literally, just announce it. Hit me up if you want some help. I'll be happy to help you. I'll cast it. I'll promote it. But like, the more events and things like this that we have going on, the better it is for the scene. That's really how we continue to grow Tooth and Tail, or at the very least, maintain it, right? There's a lot of action going on already. Both players really committing to tier 1 armies here. And look at that, like, just the small difference in lizards. It was 12 versus 15 there. And Horus was able to take the fight in a nice, quick game number 2. We're tied up 1-1. And this is very important. This match will determine which of these two players finishes up 2-1 with Draz. And I'm not sure how that is being handled, but we'll find out soon. I'm not sure if Mocha is still around, but it looks like we're going to have 2 people tied for 2nd place. Right, Draz and whoever wins this map. Alright, Horo's thinking about what the last picks are. Points difference. Oh, so whoever... oh, I see. Like, whoever went 2-0 or something. Alright, in the bottom we've got Horus the Holy. And up top it's Tuesday. Oh, so I'm hyping it up for nothing? Or what do you mean points difference? Tuesday can be 2nd place. Let me see. Yeah. Yeah, they can both tie. Oh, I see what you mean, though, because Horos... Why don't I see Horus in round 2? Oh no, Horus lost there. I'm confused. I'm hurting my brain thinking too much. Alright, so if Tuesdays wins this, then they'll tie with Draz, because both of them only dropped one other map. 6 farm Toad coming out from Horus. Oh my god, Horus with the troll. We're getting these troll builds coming out, which might be good for Tuesday. 6 farm double with Toads, man. Is it just a bluff? Like, is he expecting for it to get scouted and overreacted to, and then you just sell them all off anyways? Or I wonder if it was a mistake. It was either a mistake or he was trolling. Yeah, I see what you mean. So, in the other matches, well... So, Draz lost one map, right? And Tuesday's... No, Tuesday would lose 2 maps even if he wins here, because he lost one in this match. Oh, there's not really a graph. It's just this challenge link. You don't have anything that fancy. You can take a look there and see all the matches. We actually do get some really cool visual aids and stuff for these events. Some nice posters and graphs and summaries and that sort of thing. But this is just a preliminary match. Alright, so Tuesdays going for double skunk seems to kind of be their MO. They like to kind of start things off with that. Meanwhile, Horos really building up a lot of the toads and then going into falcons. This is actually really smart, knowing the playstyle of Tuesday. Right? Like, the toads can beat the lizards and the falcons kill the skunks. But both players on one base, and to be honest, expanding on this map is a little bit awkward for both sides. Although it is kind of fair, right? They both get 3 mills. I'm not a big fan of the positioning of these mills for either side. I mean, Tuesdays is a little bit easier to defend, but I mean, a little bit more straightforward, but more difficult to defend, being out here in the open, being very, very close to the rush distance of the opponent. So I guess I kind of do like Horus's expansion options a little bit better. He needs to go ahead and get rid of that mill, or that campfire. Those toads just exploded on everything! Oh my god! Cool strategy, and the cool thought process, I should say, for the Falcons to, like, clean it up, but the skunks just ran away. You know what I mean? Here we go again. More toad explosions coming down. And can these toads protect the falcons from the lizards? It looks like it. Dude, fast toads are scary. Really? You like it better for Tuesday? I mean, these mills are a little bit awkward, right? But actually attacking into them is pretty awkward, too. Whereas, you know, Tuesday does have this, like, quote-unquote natural, but it's, like, right in the middle of the battleground, you know what I mean? Oh, my God! Oh, dude! Oh, my God. Oh, that's gonna cost him the game! No! If only he had a few more toads and focus fired with the Falcons. Oh, my God. If he won... If he won by Toad Blast and a Gristmill. I would have been so happy, you guys, if we ended the night on that. Ugh. We were like 3 toads and a couple rounds of focus fire short, you guys. We almost had it. We almost had it. Yeah, I think he loses now, probably. Because that was so cost inefficient. But, I mean, he almost just blasted down the middle. You know what I mean? I like the fast toads, man. I'm digging the fast toads. Ooh, that campfire actually tanked so many toads there. And Tuesday is going to stomp through to end this game. Horos, man, almost winning with style. Just a few toads short and a little bit of focus fire with those Falcons. But that should be it. Horos is going to have to tap here. And GG. Tuesday also finishes up 2-1. But I believe does not qualify because Draz also finished 2-1. But Tuesday lost 2 maps in the process and Draz only lost 1. Is that correct? Is that how it works? But that is it for the games tonight, you guys. And I know one of the viewers in chat was asking about the score. So GG, everybody. Really fun night tonight. We saw some really interesting games. So I kind of flip it over to this real quick. I don't know why I'm getting ads. If I do Blammo. So this is what we can see here. And yeah, it's been updated. Why does it say 2-0 for Draz? Win, loss, tie. Shouldn't it be 2-1? Oh, maybe it didn't calculate round 3 yet. Get this. Sorry about that ad, you guys. There it is. Okay, there we go. Alright, so that is the brackets. Maybe I can... I don't know, it looks best. Oh, there we go. That's... Wish this was just a little higher up so we could see. Well, I guess we're only really concerned with the top 3 right here anyways. Alright, everybody. It was a lot of fun. We did actually get some replays in. Refresh. I think I already refreshed it. So, I believe, yeah, Draz and Night Slayer are qualifying. And I think the differential there was that if you notice with Draz, he only dropped 1 map against Tuesday, actually. And with Tuesday, they dropped 2 maps. One against Horus. Wait. I'm confusing myself. Wouldn't that mean they're tied? I don't know. Tiebreaker. Looks like tiebreaker goes to Draz. I'm thinking too hard about it, guys. So, anyways, Mocha will clear that up. I believe it is Draz second place, because, okay, yeah, he's just saying Draz second place because he beat Tuesday. Works for me. Anyways, everybody, you're all a bunch of beautiful nerds. Thank you for hanging out with me tonight and checking out some great games of Tooth and Tail. I will be back on Friday nights for a regular feast. Send me some replays at toothandtailtv@gmail.com if you want to see me comment on your games. And that's it. So, take care, everybody. I hope you all have a great night. And I will catch y'all on Friday. See you later.